one man on a mission. One man on a mission. Who wants to prove the world a fakery? He used to follow all these paranormal charms. Now he's had enough. He is done. Jake Hart's art is slowing down. Coming after all these paranormal.
Today on Fuckery, we are going to be traveling to a monstrous world. Let's go. Ew.
My name is Kenny Rogers, and this is Jackass.
Oh my.
Bitch! Andrew, save my life, please. Yep. He's gonna fuck me up. I just feel it. Nope, here we go. That's kicking. Ah!
Do it for the memes.
Woo! YOLO! Woo!
Shadow. No! Well, great. Now I gotta come down.
No, he's gonna go to.
Okay, guys.
Oh! Oh, he fucking stabbed my ass! Where is it? Oh, God!
Oh boy.
Oh, my God! Andrew! Oh, my God! That is one fucking mean dog out there. That is right there. Hello? Hello? Let me check something really quick. Not you. Properties. Yeah, perfect. Perfect. Francis! Antonis, how you guys doing? Welcome back to the channel, your local bedhead here. I have some very exciting news. Tonight, I am probably going to be doing live reactions to spooky content. Yes, yeah, it's been forever. Now, obviously, I want to wait till more people hop on in before I start doing stuff like that. I would maybe hope to get at least 20 people in here tops before we even start diving into some of those creepy videos. Who knows what I'll be diving into? Who knows what I'll be watching? Obviously, I don't want to go too crazy. I might start with something small, then move on into, like, you know, top 10 scariest stories videos, or maybe something along those lines where you could, like, pause it, try to debunk some things. Who knows? I just kind of want to chillax, not take things a little too seriously tonight. Just have a chill night, watch some spooky content, have a little bit of fun, relax. Again, I want to just relax. So, anyways, who's all in here tonight? What's going on? Hey, Jesse, how are you doing? Welcome. Glad you can make it. I'm thinking about potential Mr. Ballin and Mr. Nightmare content. Potential. Yeah? Who knows, right? Who knows? Anyways, yeah, let me know when you guys are hopping on in here. Hit the like button. If you're new around here, subscribe to the channel. We're just going to be chilling, guys. We're just going to be chilling. I have really no plans. I plan on actually filming my Poppy Playtime Chapter 5 gameplay privately and then uploading it to my second channel. I was kind of disappointed on how the graphics turned out when I downloaded it from this channel over to, and then re-uploaded it to my second channel. The graphics didn't seem as good and as clear, so I'm like, okay, well, for the next one, I'm just going to go ahead and record it privately and then upload it that way. So the graphics look good and solid and colorful and all that great stuff. Anyways, what are we going to be watching today? What are we going to be watching? What do you guys want to see from the live reactions? What would you like me to check out? Move you down here. I will wait for further instructions. Oh, I don't need to do that. Yep, take you, bring you over here. YouTube, please. Ha ha. All right. There's some TikTokers I actually do want to do like not collabs with, but montage reactions. You know those creepy little videos that people post nowadays? Yeah, those are fun. Some of them make me jump. And also, I have been uploading One Piece live action reactions. Oh, yeah. I really loved episode 1. Haven't delved into episode 2 yet. I really loved episode 1. It was actually really damn good. Okay, so let's try... I'm feeling Mr. Nightmare. Yeah, right now. Feeling Mr. Nightmare. Jim horror stories. Let's do some older ones. We're not going to react to his newer stuff just yet. Or police body cam footage. Oh my god, that live could be nuts. Oh man, police body cam footage could be nuts. We'll see. We'll see. I just did that one. 3 gas station stories. You guys can't see what I'm looking at, can you? No, you can't. Give me a minute. Haha! Elgato face cam filters. Bam, bam. Thank you. Bring you down. Hiya. Perfect. Okay, let's go down a little bit farther. Are you guys even here? I see people watching, just nobody's talking. What are you all doing? You just waiting? Halloween horror stories. That could be a fun one for around Halloween time. Don't want to spoil that one just yet. Maybe UFO stories? That could be kind of fun. 7 most disturbing things found in the woods. Oh, you're drawing. What are you drawing? You just got here. Damn. Hey, Lord Beagle. How you doing, man? 3 disturbing true end of summer horror stories. It's about to be summer. It's a little too early to do that one night drive horror stories. All right. All right. All right. There we go. Late night driving horror stories. Ah! A little loud, huh? Let me know if you guys can hear that, by the way. You probably can't because the desktop audio is turned off. Okay. Let me know if you guys can hear that. Did I see Scream 7? No, I did not. I have not seen Scream 7 yet. I want to. Yeah, I know. I know. Professional is my middle name. Real is my first name. I have not seen Scream 7. I want to. I've had a friend who went to go see it. A lot of people are kind of giving mixed reviews on it right now, which is kind of what I would have expected. Most of the recent Scream movies have gotten pretty mixed reviews. I really... I'd be a liar if I said my enthusiasm didn't die a little bit after hearing all the reviews. Again, my buddy, he really enjoyed it. He really liked it a lot. But, and I really liked Scream 6. I liked the city. I liked that whole idea. Now, was the ending disappointing? Yeah, it was. But I liked the whole concept that we were going to be putting ourselves in a bigger atmosphere. You know, bigger setting, not atmosphere, bigger setting, like a city. That was different from what this one's trying to do, which I think this one's trying to play on the nostalgic factors a lot more than Scream 6 or Scream 5. Scream 5 played on nostalgia quite a bit, but this one's trying to really take it back because now we're not really dealing with the new cast. We're dealing with the old cast and whatnot, and I'm okay with that. I really do like that, but I've heard a lot of disappointing things. I'm obviously not going to take any of the criticisms and the reviews to heart too much because I'm my own critic. I want to go in there and I want to critique it myself and go into it with an open mind myself because I might walk out loving it. Yeah, they have a Scream vodka coming out. Yep, distributed by Matthew Lillard, if I'm not mistaken. That's his vodka. I'm probably going to wait for streaming too, for Scream 7, yeah. I saw Scream 5 in theaters. That was a fun time, but, you know, I'm glad I didn't go see Scream 6 because I thought it was really good. It's just not amazing, and then I'm probably going to do the same thing with Scream 7. I feel like the franchise of Scream has kind of, unfortunately, just overstayed its welcome. It's beginning to sound like. I like the Scream franchise. I'm not, like, in love with it like I am Friday the 13th, Halloween, or Nightmare on Elm Street. I like Scream. And we'll just see. We'll just see what happens. I have D&D stuff by him as well. Hello, welcome guys. If you guys are hopping on in, we are going to be doing live reactions to Mr. Nightmare right now. So if you guys are hopping on in, we're talking a little bit beforehand, you know. Might as well check my phone before I really get started, really get into the thing, you know. Hello, what? Whale of the Deep. I almost said what of the deep. Whale of the Deep, how you doing? It's a little bit of a distance away. Yeah. Yeah, the chat is a little bit of a distance away. All right. All right. Always check my phone before we get started. That's right. You know what's the scary part? I just put it under my leg, and the screen is like cracked beyond belief. I swear to God, I was staring at my speaker instead of my camera. Am I losing my mind? I'm excited. Well, basically, my phone's cracked. Screen is cracked. So slivers of glass could potentially get in my leg if I jump. If I get scared and I jump up and I land on it, could potentially have glass in my leg. I don't really know. You never question me. Don't ever question my senses. Sometimes, oh, I swear to God, something sharp just went in my leg. We're off to a banger start. Yes. Okay, let's go ahead and dive into this thing. I need you guys to let me know if you can hear, by the way. Let me know if you can hear the video. Yeah? Can you hear it?
What I'm about to tell you is something that has no explanation.
If you can hear it a little bit, that means you're not actually hearing it through the PC, you're hearing it through my speaker. So let me know. You can't hear it. That means, yeah, you guys are definitely not hearing it through the PC. Don't worry. I got ways. I do have ways around this. Okay. That's not what I wanted to do. There we go. Okay. Easy fix. It's just a pain that OBS does this to me every single time. I have to literally bring up a new output every time. Now you should be able to hear it. So we'll restart that, okay? You might want to check your leg and make sure it's not bleeding. Oh, it'll be okay. If it starts running down my leg, it might make for entertaining content. Who knows? You might see me try to get up, run out of the room, slip on some blood. Right? I think I'll be okay. Trust me. It was a little jab, but I noticed it. Welcome to my life. This is a shit show. Okay, here we go. Night Drive horror stories. All right. You should be able to hear it now. Story one by Kai.
What I'm about to tell you is something that has no explanation. It's the strangest thing that has ever happened to me or anyone I personally know. I work late hours at a dive bar about 30 minutes from my house. It's not really by choice. It's just how things are when you live out in a more rural area. There are not a ton of jobs close to home, so you take what you can get. The bar itself isn't anything special, but it's steady work, and most nights are pretty uneventful.
That's
The night this all happened was no different. My shift had gone by without much happening, and after closing everything up, I got in my car and started the drive home. Most of the way back is nothing but a series of winding back roads.
Yep.
Hardly any traffic, barely...
Have I ever told you guys a story about how I got trapped on some back roads? Embarrassing enough. This was about, my God, it might have been about 4 or 5 years ago now. Who has the audacity to message me at this time? Telling a story. A banger story. I got some videos coming after this, by the way. Trust me. I'm not doing this to be rude. I'm going to be a dick about this, actually. Hey, Hopefully your night's going. Nah, that's not a good way to start this. Hey, bitch. No, that's not a good way to start this either. Okay. I'm live right now doing YouTube reactions, actually. If you want to hop on over, take a look. I'm actually doing live reactions to scary stories. Hop on over. Why not, right? If you're not busy, but I already went off on you once and I stopped the recording live. And yeah, this is a more toned down version of that message. So I hope you're grateful. Pretty good. Now my phone vibrates again. I'm just gonna break it. Anyways, hey Cheyenne, welcome. Okay, everybody, back to the story. My story. Almost forgot. I was on some back roads. This is about 4 or 5 years ago. I was on a Tinder date. Yeah, I've done them. This is a while back, man. I was on a Tinder date, and I remember after my date, I was heading home, and there was a train coming, and there was a line of people, okay? And I really didn't want to wait for this train. So in my mind, I was like, I've been down here before with my dad. I know where there's a shortcut back to home, right? It's about a 10-minute drive, 15-minute drive back home if I take the shortcut. So I went down that way. I turned what I thought was that way. I went down the road that I'm confident was the way back. Okay? I was confident this was the way back home. And then all of a sudden, I realized something. This was not that road. I had probably turned down at least 3 roads. And again, this is like 10 o'clock at night. The sun is gone down. I am now on some back roads, 3 roads down, and all of a sudden I'm like, I need to turn back around. I'm going to get lost. I already had forgotten what roads I had come down to get where I was. So I turn around and I'm beginning to go back up those roads. I'm like, I got to pull out my phone and look at where I'm at. And I went to turn my phone on, and then all of a sudden it died on me. 10 o'clock at night, died on me. No way I could call my dad. No way I could look at Google Maps. No way I could do anything. Okay? I am now having a panic attack. Now, I'm driving up and down back roads to the point where I drove around one of the major cities out here in Ohio without even realizing I had driven around the city, without even going into the city. Yes. I was on the road from 10 o'clock at night all the way till about 4:30 in the morning. And it was by pure fucking luck that I even got home. I literally, at one point in the middle of me being lost, I was in between 2 cornfields in the middle of nowhere. I pulled off, right? I'm in between these 2 cornfields, and I'm having a panic attack. I have to unbuckle myself. I can't sit still. I'm starting to get antsy. I'm like, oh my God, this is the worst thing to happen. I'm literally crying. And I'm having a full-blown panic attack. And all of a sudden, there's like a button on the door, right? Like I literally am in the front seat. I crawled to the back, like to the middle seat. It's a van I'm driving in. I climbed into the middle seat, and because I'm in such a panic, I don't realize what I'm doing. And I hit the button that opens the door right in front of me with my shoulder, like my shoulder blade. And I didn't realize I hit it. So all I can see is that the side of the van is opening. So I'm sitting here thinking some rednecks are breaking into my van, and they're gonna kill me, right? They're gonna do something first, and then they're gonna kill me. I'm freaking out. Mentally, I'm everywhere. And I'm like so panicked that this door is opening. And then I realized I'm an idiot who pressed the button, and that calmed me down like that. Calmed me down. I'm like, okay, that could have been bad. So I get back in the van, I get back in the driver's seat, I turn on the van again, and I start driving again. Probably 2 hours pass, and I see some lights off in the distance. Yes. And I'm excited. I'm like, okay, bet. And we drive. I drive there. And I drive into a parking lot where I see the last vehicle leaving. It's like for a factory. And I punch the steering wheel because now there's nobody here. And I'm still lost. And I get out of the parking lot, I'm driving, I turn, and then all of a sudden I see a sign going in the direction of a place I'm familiar with. And I'm like, thank God. Because if I get to that area, I know for a fact it's going to be about 25 minutes before I'm home. I drive there, man. I don't even care at this point. I am so relieved that I see this. And then eventually I make it home because I know exactly where I am. But yeah, it took me from literally 10 o'clock at night till about 4:30 in the morning. And by the time I walked to that door, I had sworn to myself I would never do late night driving again. Without a phone, if I didn't have a phone that was fully charged, it's not going to happen because I need a GPS, man. That was one of the scariest nights of my life. I truthfully thought I was going to die in that van at one point. Yeah. Moral of the story, never let Jordan navigate. That's exactly right. One of the reasons why Roa Noa Zoro from One Piece is one of my favorite characters is because I'm exactly that. I've had my Zoro moments, and that was my biggest Zoro moment. By far. Such a blessed memory. I love that memory so much. You have no idea. I look back on that shit. Yeah, the Clown Prince of Crime will never be the driver. No. You'd be smart. That's a smart decision because I would get us lost instantly. Anyways, that was my Backroad story. And then there was another one where I was driving with a friend, Cinnamon, and we were working at the same place. So we were kind of carpooling and stuff. I think this one was for a photo shoot that we were doing. She was a photographer. And we decided to go down a back road. True fucking story, by the way. We're going down this back road. And it's one of those gravel roads. And it's in the middle of the woods. I love that we're now getting in my own top 10 fucking scary stories, back road stories, right? And we're driving downhill, and it's like a spiral of a gravel road. Again, in the middle of the woods. A lot of shadiness, the sun's out, but there's a lot of wildlife around us. Pretty crazy. Like, this is some wrong turn shit. And then all of a sudden we're driving, and then we both look forward. It's not like we weren't looking forward the whole time, but, you know, adding something to the story, I guess. We look forward, and we look down at the road, and we see a pothole. And we ain't talking about no just little dinky pothole. We are talking about a fucking crater, like a meteor came down and hit the fucking road at some point. And I remember putting my hand on the dashboard, and then Cinnamon, as calmly as can be, says, "This is happening," and we hit it. Oh my God, we hit it. Dude, we thought the car was done. It lived, surprisingly, because it was already a really big piece of shit car. We thought it was going to fall apart into millions of pieces because this pothole was like, it's huge. And this is like the biggest pothole I've ever seen in my life. And I'm like, holy hell, this is about to happen. And as calmly as be, she just was like, this is about to happen. And we hit that pothole. And that car went boom, boom, and I hit my head on the ceiling. I'm confident I did. We stopped immediately after we got through it. And we just sat there. We just sat there in complete silence, like, oh my God. This would be a horrible road to get broken down on. You don't trust people? That's fair. That's fair. Yeah. No, anyways, let's get back to the video. Those are my back road stories. Crazy fun. Friday the 13th is tomorrow, by the way. And if this video does well, maybe we'll go live on Friday the 13th and watch some scary stories then. Let's get back to it, guys.
Any lights, barely any cars, barely anything, honestly. Just long stretches of curves cutting through woods and farmland. It's usually a pretty quiet drive, and honestly, I've always kind of liked it for that reason. Like a built-in detox where I have time to zone out or think about characters I met at the bar and interesting conversations I may have had with them. Not long into the drive, I remember thinking to myself how unusually foggy it was. I've driven those roads more times than I can count, but that night, visibility was worse than I'd seen in a while. I actually had to ease off the gas and take it slower because I could barely see more than a few car lengths ahead. Even flipping on my brights didn't help. It just made the fog...
I always go about 35 tops, even in a 55. When it's like foggy like that, yep, don't even risk that shit because people they're dumb and they do hit their brakes quite a bit. And if there's animals running around and they hit the brakes and you don't see them quick enough, you're gonna rear end them.
Low and reflect back at me, almost like I was driving into a wall of white. It started pissing me off because I knew it would only add time to my trip and I was exhausted. I was about halfway home when I noticed it. Through the fog, maybe a little off to the right side of the road, there was this faint yellow blinking light. At first, I figured it was just some kind of roadside marker or maybe a reflector, but as I kept driving, it didn't really get any closer or farther away. It just stayed there, blinking at a steady rhythm, like it was moving right along with me,
Nope.
keeping pace from somewhere deeper in the fog. The whole thing felt a little off. I couldn't tell how far away it actually was. It was like the fog was playing tricks on my depth perception.
It's a UFO.
After about another minute of driving with
rake.
that blinking light hovering in the exact same place, I started getting this weird feeling in my stomach. I couldn't even explain it to you. Something about it just didn't sit right with me. I decided to slow down a bit, thinking maybe if I let off the gas, the light would keep going and I'd get a better sense of what it actually was, or it would just continue onward and disappear entirely, and I wouldn't have to deal with it anymore.
Okay, so I personally thought the story was going to go into one of those kind of like situations where you pull off to the side of the road to help somebody and then you get jumped by like 5-6 people. But now it sounds like if it's keeping pace with him, it's either another vehicle driving alongside him or it's some sort of UFO or something like that. Something crazy along those lines. Interesting. Or a ghost with a lantern.
But as I eased down to almost a crawl, the light didn't change at all. It kept blinking at the same steady rhythm, still holding that same distance off to the side, like whatever it was that somehow matched my speed perfectly. That's when I really started to get spooked. I finally came to a full stop just to see if it would do the same, and sure enough, it stayed right there, blinking in the exact same
But
spot
why
with the
you?
same rhythm. I sat there for a second, trying to figure out what the hell I was looking at and debating whether I should just turn around or keep going. That's when it changed. The blinking didn't stop, but the light itself started getting brighter, like a small flame catching a sudden gust of wind and flaring up.
It means it's getting
It
closer
wasn't
to you.
flashing faster, it was burning stronger with each pulse, like whatever it was had suddenly gotten more active. That was enough for me. I wasn't about to sit there and wait for whatever that was to get any closer or weirder. I reached down to shift into reverse so I could back up and turn around, but I realized the engine wasn't running.
Okay,
I
first off though, if it's keeping pace with you, what is turning around going to do when driving the other way? It's still going to chase you if it's trying to keep up with you. So like, even if you turn around at this point, it's not going to do any good. You might as well drive forward and get to where you're going to be going, because at this point, I would assume that you're probably closer to where your destination is than probably where you're coming from. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe that's why he wants to turn around, because maybe back there is closer than where he's trying to get to. I'd assume so, right? But again, it's still going to chase you.
Swear to God, it was dead silent. I had no idea how that was even possible. The only way to kill the engine would have been touching the key, but I distinctly remember never doing that. Why the hell would I do that? At that point, my hands were shaking, and my hands never shake. I pour drinks all day, my hands can't shake. As I was
Your hands can shake if you're scared enough.
desperately trying to start the car, I couldn't help but think that this thing outside my car had something to do with my...
That's what would kill me in a horror movie scenario. Guarantee you, dead ass. I pull out my car, my house keys, and I'm just trying to, like, I'm shaking so hardcore that I'm trying to get the key into the, and I just snap it. And then I would just jump through the window. And then probably stab myself in the process with a piece of glass. That's probably how I'd die in a horror movie.
engine, which of course wouldn't start. I tried the ignition again and again. The engine was completely dead. Meanwhile, that blinking yellow light kept burning brighter and brighter and brighter, almost like it was feeding off something.
Your
My pulse was
vibes.
racing at that point. I had no idea what the hell was going on, and there was no one around for miles. Not knowing what else to do, I reached for my phone, figuring maybe I could at least get some video of it or call for help. But as soon as I
That's exactly what someone would do in today's society. When they're being, like, targeted by something unknown or a serial killer or something, we're just going to pull out our phones and try to record it. That's what we're going to do. You call 911. And because it's so foggy, you probably don't know where the hell you are, you do your best to get them out there as fast as possible. And then you try to run. No. I mean, if the car's not starting you, I mean, do you stay in the car? I would assume you probably stay in the car, because if it's going to keep up with you in the fog, it's probably going to chase you down in the fog. No problem. Oh, man. You know what I'd do? You know what I would actually do? I'd get out of the car and I would chase it. It's exactly what I'd do. I can't outrun this thing. Sitting in the car is not going to do me any good. It has to be supernatural if it's keeping up with me. I might as well try to scare it in the best way possible. I'm a dead man anyways, right? So I might as well go out, thinking I might be able to at least have a shot. Like, it would not expect me to do that. And that's probably what I'd hope for, is it wouldn't expect me to get out of the car and be like, you know, the guy from the movie Get Out, where he's just, you know, pace running towards the camera. It wouldn't expect that. So it would probably turn around and run. Yeah. You would think, right? I don't know. I just feel like it would expect you to be scared. It would expect you to run away. And that's when it would come and get you. Or maybe stand on top of the car and do some really just crazy dance and say some sort of weird chant. Maybe that would be enough to scare it.
I tapped the screen. Nothing happened. Completely black. My phone had died. I knew for a fact I still had at least 20%. I had literally checked it back at the bar before I closed up.
It's draining your
Now
shit.
it was as dead as the engine.
Yep.
Before I could do
It's a
anything
UFO.
else, the light suddenly flared to a blinding brightness, like
Yep.
an exploding star.
Yeah, it's a fucking UFO. Okay, so maybe getting out of the car and chasing it would be a bad idea. I'd literally be making its job a lot easier. It would just beam me up at that point, saying, oh, we got a weird one. We got a weird one. We're definitely going to have to experiment on him.
I physically couldn't keep my eyes open. That's how bright it was. I threw my arms up in front of me and kept my eyes shut for 10 seconds at least, feeling the blaze of what was now a
Government.
gigantic light bulb. And then, just like that, it was gone, like it had never been there in the first place. The fog was still thick, but there was nothing out there anymore.
Thick.
My heart was still pounding, but I instinctively reached for the ignition one more time, and this time, the engine turned over like normal. I didn't waste another second. I drove the rest of the way home with my eyes glued to the road, as if looking away for even a second would bring that awful light back. But nothing else happened that night. Nothing ever happened again, actually. I've told this story to just about everyone I know, my family, friends, even a couple regulars at the bar, but no one's had an explanation that sits right with me. And trust me, I've heard every theory you could think of.
Would that be a good idea to tell people at a bar this kind of story? To be granted, I would. I would love to go to a bar and just start talking about all the crazy shit I've experienced. It'd be fun. Everybody would be into it. Okay, so that was a UFO, right? That was a UFO story. I mean, that was pretty solid. I do believe in UFOs. I do believe in aliens. I do believe in some weird supernatural phenomena like that. I really do. I find that stuff fascinating as all hell. And there have been reports of, like, people losing power to their vehicles if they're in the presence of one of these things. So that's not really anything crazy. That's a reoccurring theme I've noticed, is that it just strains everything. Is it possible? I guess. I've never been in that kind of situation before. I don't know. Pretty cool, though. I liked it. Let's go do it. It's an escape from Area 51, potentially. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the live stream. If you're hopping on in here, hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. It's a killer clown from outer space. That'd be kind of dope. Next story. That was fun. You know what? I'd give that one a 6 out of 10. And the reason why I'd give it a 6 out of 10 because it wasn't all that scary. The reoccurring theme with those kind of stories, and at some point, it's just like there's nothing really new added there. You know, I lost power to my vehicle, the light got closer, and then it's gone. And then my car turns back on. That's basically the story. It's fine. It was passable. It's just not that scary.
This happened a couple years back. I'm a long-haul truck driver. I've been doing this for years now, so I've gotten pretty used to the long stretches of nothing. This particular night, I was on my second to last
I feel that even now, and I'm not even a truck driver, long stretches of nothing.
delivery of a cross-state loop.
Not really.
Just
not
trying
really.
to knock it out so I could get home. The route had me cutting through one of those desert highways that barely get any traffic at night. No towns for miles, no gas stations, barely even any lights. Just a 2-lane road slicing through open desert under a sky full of stars. It's the kind of drive where you start to feel like you're the only person left on the planet. I was about an hour out
Such
from
a
my
cool
next
feeling.
drop-off when I first noticed it. I glanced into one of my side mirrors and was kind of surprised to notice a dark SUV back there, trailing me. It wasn't riding my bumper or anything aggressive like that. It was actually keeping a pretty wide distance, but it was definitely following.
Some Jeepers Creepers
No matter
shit.
how fast or slow I went, it adjusted to match. For nearly 40 miles, it just hovered there in my mirrors. Always visible, always keeping that same strange gap. It never tried to speed up or pass, just sat back there like it was waiting for something. At first, I thought it was a driver who was afraid to pass me.
I mean, some people just don't, they're not in a hurry. Some people like the drive. Maybe he was like, fuck it. I'm just going to take my time getting there. And he didn't want to pass. He was like, now I got an excuse why I just didn't, I was stuck behind a truck. Who knows, right? I mean, that doesn't seem all that scary to me. But I'm sure what comes next is going to surprise me.
Maybe they thought it was illegal or dangerous, but I cast that theory aside after driving through several passing zones. I guess it was possible they didn't know what a passing zone was, but I figured that was pretty implausible. As much as I was dying to know what was going on, I had a job to do. I couldn't afford to devote the whole night to figuring out what the guy behind me's problem was, so I tried to ignore him. As much as I tried, though, I couldn't help but glance at his car every so often.
Well, I mean, if you're that bored, then you'd probably make a game out of it. Just like keep looking at that vehicle back there, see what it's up to now. Make up story in your mind. Because I'm so fucking bored. I feel like the only person out here. So then finally someone pulls up and I'm like, oh, hey, more life.
It was really starting to make me tick, which is something I rarely ever do. Around 2 a.m., I decided to pull off at a small roadside rest area. It wasn't a full truck stop or anything like that.
Did he pull off
Just
next?
a dirt
next to
lot
you?
with a few faded parking spaces and a little shed with a couple of vending machines. There were also no external lights in the whole lot except for one dim bulb flickering above the vending machines. I figured I'd stretch my legs
Of course there was one dim bulb flickering over the fucking vending machines, man. That's just a horror movie setup right there. That feels almost too perfect of a horror movie setup.
for a minute, grab a soda, and more importantly, let whoever was behind me pass. But when I glanced back before shutting off the engine, I
He
saw
was
that
there.
SUV pull in too, parking way off in the far corner of the lot.
He spelled two wrong.
At that point, whatever confusion or discomfort I was feeling became pure rage. Whoever was driving that SUV was about to get a piece of my mind. I aggressively stepped down from the cab and started making my way over to the car, not even trying to disguise my frustration. But as I was stomping my way over there, whoever was inside must have realized that I was about to confront them, because before I could even get close, the SUV's engine suddenly flared to life and they peeled out of the spot like they were running from the cops, kicking up a huge cloud of dust and gravel. As they sped past me, I tried to catch a glimpse of the jagoff who was behind the wheel, but the windows were tinted.
This
and I
guy,
couldn't-
okay, no offense, but this truck driver kind of sounds like a dick. I understand being a little bit annoyed that someone's been following you, but at the same time, it's like, what if they have to get to an area in your destination and they're like, oh, hey, this guy stopped at his rest stop. I've been on the road for a while. I might as well stop too. And he probably was mentally thinking that, hey, I don't want to come off like I am bothering this person. And then when he saw him coming, he might have just took off because he's like, I didn't mean it that way, but fuck, he must have taken it wrongly. Who knows? Maybe that might have been suspicious, though. Who knows? You never want to take those kind of risks. For all I know, the guy could have been, waiting for a moment or an opportunity. He or her, I don't know if we ever found out. Could have been waiting for an opportunity to do something. But I feel like the truck driver is just kind of mean. He's just kind of a bitter guy. He's probably not a people's person at all. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading that wrong, but I feel like now he just feels too frustrated, so he's going to go confront this person about why you're driving behind me. People drive behind you. Sometimes, I get it though. I do. It's late at night. Could be a little bit spooky. Yeah, I get it. But now, to be honest, if they peeled out like they did, I probably would have been oddly weirded out too, and then I'd probably be a little bit paranoid after that. But I don't know. He just kind of seems like a guy with an attitude.
make anything out. I watched as the car got back on the highway, tires still screeching. Within seconds, it was gone. Just a flicker of red taillights that quickly receded into nothingness. Part of me was relieved. I wouldn't have to deal with that nuisance anymore, and I could finally go about my night in peace. But another part of me was deeply unsettled. I had basically confirmed to myself that whoever was driving that car had been following me for some unknown reason. And what's worse, they clearly didn't want me approaching their vehicle, so their intentions must have been hostile. As I was returning from the vent,
Well, if their intentions were hostile, why not confront you when you're out of your vehicle? They could have done something to you since you're the only two out there. They could have done something to you and then had access to your truck. I don't know. Something's not really feeling like this person's is right about his assumption with this driver. I just feel like that something would have happened there and then if they wanted to do something. It would have made it very easy for them if you came wandering over without any protection whatsoever. I don't know.
vending machines, which coincidentally were completely unstocked, so that had been a huge waste of time. I only then realized how tired the whole encounter made me. My energy was zapped, and the last thing I wanted to do was get back on the road. I figured I'd earned at least a short break after all that. Just a quick nap. An hour or two to recharge before finishing the route in the morning. I did a quick walk around the rig. I made sure the cargo doors were still locked and everything was secured tight, then climbed back into the cab. I reclined my seat, cracked the window slightly to let some air in, and settled in for a bit of rest. The lot was dead quiet by that point, and for the first time all night, I actually started to relax.
What'd you say? Truck driver seems paranoid and confrontational. I'd speed off too. That's true. That's true. But again, if they had bad intentions to begin with, why not just do something when the guy's walking over? Maybe I underestimate truck drivers. Maybe they are more prepared for something like that than expected.
My logic was that even if that person did mean me harm, there's no way they'd turn their vehicle around just to continue harassing me. Even if they did want to come back, finding the lot again would be next to impossible. They'd have to search blindly in the middle of a pitch-black desert. The combination of my exhaustion and newfound comfort made falling asleep really easy. If I had to guess, I'd say I fell asleep that night in a matter of minutes. I should probably mention that I'm a really light sleeper. Like, really light. You kind of have to be in this line of work. Sleeping in sketchy roadside places so often builds a third eye, so to speak. If someone's messing with your rig while you're asleep, your entire livelihood could be at risk, not to mention your life. So yeah, the ability to wake up to even faint sounds could be the difference between job and no job, life and death.
Oh, yep.
Maybe an hour after falling asleep, you guessed it, I was woken up by the faintest little noise.
Personally, I'm surprised the dude even fell asleep after that little situation happened. I'd be nervous of them turning around and coming back. So I probably wouldn't sleep.
A light crunching sound, like footsteps pressing into the loose gravel. Even though I was still groggy,
they probably parked
I
off
had
in the
enough
distance.
sense to keep quiet. I cracked the corner of one of my window blinds to take a look outside, and sure enough, there were two figures standing near the rear wheels of my trailer. They were crouched down low, inspecting the lower latch mechanisms like they were trying to figure out how to open them without making too much noise. They were keeping pretty quiet, but I noticed one of them had a small flashlight, using it to signal back and forth to the other. I couldn't make out any faces, but it was clear as day what they were doing. I didn't have any weapon on me. I usually don't, but if it came down to it, I was fully prepared to defend my rig and load. That's my life. As I watched, one of the guys reached into a small bag and pulled out what looked like a pair of bolt cutters. That was it. Without even thinking.
He did it like he's gonna tell us he jumped out of the rig and chased them down? My God.
I slammed my palm down on the horn, sending the truck's air horn blaring. Their reaction was instant. Both men jumped like they'd been hit with a lightning bolt, and they scrambled back towards the roadside brush. Not even 10 seconds later, I saw headlights appear out of nowhere. It was that same SUV from
and it
earlier,
drove off?
this time roaring back into view with its lights still off, before whipping around and disappearing into the night again. I never even had time to step out of my cab before the whole thing was over. After things calmed down a bit, I called the police.
I don't think you wanted to step out of your cab. I think you wanted just to watch them scramble and drive off on their own. For all you know, they could have had a weapon. And sometimes that risk isn't worth it. I was sitting here thinking, yeah, he was just going to jump out and start chasing after them. And I'm like, that would have been a stupid idea, because what if one of them pulled out a pistol? Then it would have been over, and then they would have taken your life anyways with all your stuff. It just would have been just pointless. So I'm glad he at least honked his horn to alert them that, hey, get the fuck out of here. Instead of trying to risk his actual life getting out there on foot and then potentially being shot or just beaten up. You know, sometimes it doesn't matter how strong you are. You go into a fight, you never know how it's going to turn out. And if these people think like their lives are out on the line, they are going to fight dirty, probably.
Honestly, I was mostly just calling to report the incident and get it on record, but they insisted I stay put until a unit could get there to check things out. It took a while, but eventually 2 officers showed up and helped me inspect the truck. Sure enough, there were fresh pry marks along one of the lower lock arms on the back of my trailer, right where those guys had been messing around. Fortunately, they hadn't gotten it open. The officers told me they'd seen this kind of thing before. Cargo thieves. Apparently, it's a lot more common along that corridor than most people realize. They figured the SUV had been following me for a while, waiting for the right time to strike. This remains the most unsettling thing that has ever happened to me.
I think that one is a little bit better than the first one. That shit kind of is more scary because those are actual people, and you're in a situation that, you know, you're not normally wanting to be involved in. So I would say that was a bit better than that first story. This is the final one by Mikey.
There's nothing better than a night drive, especially in the summer. Picture this, the warm summer breeze flowing through the open windows of a speeding car cutting through empty stretches of endless highway. Well, that's what it's like around my neck of the woods anyway. There aren't a lot of cars out on the highway at night, no cops either, so I essentially have free reign to drive how I please. And trust me, I take full advantage of that.
So like you drive like a
My
maniac?
dad's BMW M3 definitely assists in that regard too. Don't get me wrong, I'm not a reckless driver or someone who operates a car at criminal speeds, but I do enjoy experiencing the full capabilities of German engineering from time to time. This night was one of those times.
So you do.
I was full-on joyriding, cruising along the highway without a care in the world, stereo turned off and passenger seat empty. My ears were focused not on music, but on two other things, the beautiful sounds of my car and the whip of the air around my face. Driving like this is one of the only things that makes me feel truly free. I'm not sure what came over me, but at one point I had this insatiable urge to pull off the highway and cut up some back roads where I could really appreciate the car's handling. It's like when you get a really strong urge to do something and you don't really know why, but you do know that you won't be able to sleep at night if you don't satisfy it. That's exactly what it was like. So I did exactly that. I pulled off at the next exit and started cutting through a network of back roads, weaving through whatever neighborhood I had landed in. The roads were narrow and filled with tight bends, exactly the kind of driving I was looking for.
Wow.
I let the car open up a bit, taking the turns with just enough speed to feel the tires grip and release.
Right,
The streets were completely deserted. It was just me, the car, and the road. That is, until I spotted a flicker of light in the road up ahead, and slammed on the brakes just in time to barely avoid smashing into it. Once I came to a stop, I finally got a clear look at what I had almost hit. It was a shopping cart, just sitting there in the middle of the road like someone had wheeled it out and left it.
That sounds like a setup. Granted, like, I don't know why. I guess back roads would be better off to do it because, you know, it'd be too suspicious on main roads. People, you know, cops could go by and then see it. So back roads are probably the best place for this kind of stuff. But man, how rare is it when someone drives on these back roads? Considering that he seems very comfortable with driving like a maniac on these back roads. I don't know, it feels like a setup.
Headlights bounced off the metal bars must have been what caught my eye and made it look a lot more sudden and dramatic than it really was. Still, it completely threw me off. I mean, it's not exactly normal to find a random shopping cart sitting dead center in the middle of the back road at close to midnight.
Nope.
Against my better judgment, I put the car in park, turned on my hazards, and stepped out to take a closer look. I probably should have just kept driving.
This guy's just not smart. Driving recklessly, okay? On back roads like a maniac. Look, regardless if they're back roads or not, people could be walking, and if you don't see them in time, you could kill one of them. Someone could be just parked and you could slam into side. Who knows, right? Why drive like a maniac? But now you're telling me that you turned on the emergency lights. You know, hey, I'm here, by the way, guys. You can see my car flashing. I'm going to step out of this thing and go straight to the cart, in which case I just said was probably a setup. I would have drove right around that and I would have sped off. You kidding me? This guy he just doesn't sound that smart.
Driving, but my curiosity got the better of me.
Exactly. His curiosity got the better of him. Like, curiosity killed the cat. Are you serious? This is a guy that you would be screaming at the TV, like at the movie theater at, right? In a horror movie. This would be the guy that you'd be screaming like, you fucking idiot. What are you doing? How do you not know better? That's exactly who this person is.
The whole thing just felt so random and out of place that I had this weird need to make sense of it. The night air hit me right away, warm but a little buggy, and the only sound was my cooling engine making the classic BMW ticking sound. I walked up to the cart, unsure of what I'd find inside. Groceries, maybe? No, that was ridiculous.
Why did he add a knocking sound effect if it's a grocery cart? Like someone knocking on the window?
I internally scolded myself for letting such a dumb thought even enter my brain. I peered inside the cart and realized it was completely empty, just an ordinary metal shopping cart sitting in the middle of the road. I stood there for a few seconds, But when it became clear there was nothing unusual about the cart itself, I turned to head back toward my car. That's when I saw out of the corner of my eye, two dark figures suddenly...
Two people trying to fucking jack his car.
They broke out from the farmland beside the road. They were sprinting full speed, coming straight toward me.
Fucking hell, man.
It took my brain a second to even process what I was...
Yeah! You set yourself up. This is an... How do you not know? How do you not know this is a setup? I hate to say it, this guy kind of deserves it. I mean, like, it's just a clear, obvious horror movie cliched setup. Cart in the middle of the road. Oh my god, man. In the middle of night, on the back roads, these two are hillbillies. These two are hillbillies. What do you think's gonna happen?
Seeing, but in that moment, it was life or death. My options were either act or die. I bolted back to my car and basically punched the start button.
No fucking way.
The car came to life as those figures made it to my car window. One of them stopped a few feet from my car, but the other one sprinted directly into my passenger side door, coming to a halt with a deafening thump. He didn't even flinch. It was as if my car were invisible. That's how fast he had been running. He didn't even brace himself for the impact. The two of us locked eyes, and all the confidence I just had was instantly gone. I was frozen. He stared at me with two beady, bloodshot eyes.
Oh, he's on something.
His clothes were torn, like he'd been running through thick brush or barbed wire, and his hair was messy and wet. His face was smeared with something dark, dirt or blood or maybe both. He had this unsettling, vacant expression on his face that wasn't exactly a scowl, but wasn't exactly a smile either. I've never been more terrified in my entire life.
You hit the gas, right?
It was bad. There was blood spurting from somewhere on his body, but he didn't seem to care or even notice. He must have realized I wasn't going anywhere, because he started fumbling with the door handle, trying to pry the door open. That's what did it for me. I snapped back to reality, maneuvered the car around the shopping cart, and sped out of there. I was beyond conflicted the whole drive home.
Oh my god.
Not only was I still shaken up and scared, but part of me also felt like that person needed help for his wounds and wasn't going to get it. I debated going back to see if he needed help, but ultimately...
Oh my god, the fact that you would even debate that is straight up stupidity to me. I'm sorry, like that, people might argue that is like him having a good heart. These two obviously did something wrong. These two were obviously like escaping from somewhere, and you wanted to go back to see, hey man, do you need help? Those guys could have killed you. Taken your car and drove off. Oh, they would have gotten help all right, and left you there bleeding out. They would have went straight to the hospital, but you would have been left there bleeding out, no doubt. Why this guy's just an outright idiot. I'm sorry, like I have no words for that. Like you actually debated on going back. Why not call the police, send them down there, and then have them send an ambulance, and then they could have helped the people that way. You don't put a cart in the middle of the road and lure people out of their vehicles unless you have malicious intent behind what you're doing. Either that was take the car or try to beat the person up, rob them, kill them, or do whatever. It's like, why would you do that, man? I don't know.
He decided against it. Instead, I reported the incident to the police while still driving, and they said they'd send someone over to the spot I described to check it out. When I finally made it back home, I parked in the driveway and got out to inspect the car. I needed to know how bad the damage was. That's when I noticed there was blood spattered across the entire passenger side door, way more than I had expected. It was streaked along the side mirror, smeared across the handle, even dotting part of the rear quarter panel. There was also a slight dent near the center of the door, just barely noticeable if you weren't looking for it. The amount of blood, though, that's what really got to me. It was far more than I would have thought from that brief impact. It was an inhuman amount of blood. The next morning, my dad took
an inhuman amount of blood. Calm down, Mr. Dramatic.
one look at the car and completely lost it. He didn't even give me a chance to explain before he started going off, yelling about how irresponsible I was, how I should have never taken the car out that late, and how much it was going to cost to fix the paint and the dent. I kept trying to tell him that it wasn't my fault, that something happened out there that I couldn't have
It was your fault. You were a complete asshat the entire time. Driving recklessly, crazy-like, going down back roads, getting out of a fucking vehicle to check out a cart in the middle of the road that was obviously set there. You were a complete... If his dad was there, he would have been telling him, keep going. We're not stopping. Keep going. Are you stupid? Dad, we got to check this out. No, we ain't checking it out. hit the gas. Like, anybody with common sense would have told him otherwise.
Possibly predicted, but he wasn't having it. To him, all he saw was his car covered in blood with a dented door, and that was enough. I may have hit a deer for all he cared. He eventually did come around to what had happened, and he was actually pretty sympathetic, but not until after I got the car cleaned up. And let's just say that that was one of the last times he let me go joyriding after dark. I'm pretty sure I can explain everything that happened. Those people, probably homeless, had tried to lure some unsuspecting soul out of their car with a shopping cart. I had been that unsuspecting soul that night. They just hadn't been fast or stealthy enough to get the jump on me before I could get out of there. I never heard back from the police, but I wasn't really expecting to. Part of me feels like I shouldn't care.
They can't do anything about it. Those guys probably took off the second that you got away.
But I really hate thinking an impact with my car might have ended someone's life that night.
Well, glad you're thinking about the other alternatives that could have happened from being a complete idiot. Man, that was just an annoying little story. Like, that one was the best one by far. But man, was I annoyed by this guy. Going to Camp Blood, ain't you? Knock it off, Ralph. Didn't they sit there staring at the people running towards the car too? Yeah, apparently they locked eyes and he just sat there looking at the dude the entire time when he was at the passenger side window. For whatever reason. And then he snapped back into reality and kicked the gas. Like, dude, this guy had no survival tactics at all. No survival tactics. No survival skills in the slightest. That was almost crazy. The fact that he just admitted all that. Like, goddamn, dude. Get a grip. Anyways, what do you guys want to watch next? We can watch more Mr. Nightmare. We can jump over to Mr. Ballin if you want. What would you guys like me to check out? Thank you for being a member for 60 months. Adam Fink. Thank you so much for that level of support and dedication to my channel. I appreciate that, man. That was on them, 100%. They are the absolute F-ups of the entire story. He's lucky it wasn't a lot worse, because it really could have been a lot worse. Mr. Ballin? Okay. We might dive into Mr. Ballin here in a minute. Any other scary stories you want to listen to? You vote for Mr. Ballin too? Okay. Who's all still here, by the way? I'm telling some people I'm live on YouTube, by the way. If anybody's curious what I'm doing, don't worry about it. It's okay. You want to do Mr. Ballin too? My phone just died. Well, give me 1 second. I'm going to grab my phone charger.
Reactions are nothing new. However,
I wasn't done. I'm not leaving. No, I never charge my phone. Well, I do. It's just, for some reason, it wants to die on me a lot sooner now. Let's see here. Mr. Ballin. His song will kill you. Cali Beach front restaurant held a key to murder. You know what? Let's do something. Let's go down a little bit. Let's do some research. Yeah? His phone has a death curse. Freak accidents. Screaming only makes it worse. Top 5 bingeable scary stories. She hunted down her idol. That sounds interesting. Do you believe? 5 bingeable scary stories. Yeah, no, I was just getting my phone charger from my phone. It was dying on me. Family's unspeakable secret. That one could be kind of interesting. Don't let him in. If you ring If you ring this bell, you're already dead?
Today's story.
Okay, well, that already piqued my interest insanely. Do you believe in life after love? Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the live stream. If anybody wants to share this live stream and get more people in here for these live reactions, then I would really appreciate it. Head on over to the Discord. Actually, you know what? Fuck it. I'll just do it myself. Hey, I'm live right now. Hey, doing live reactions. Come on over. Perfect. Perfect. Hey, Spookfest. Albert, how you guys doing? Give me 1 second. We're going to dive into Mr. Ballin here in about a minute. Let me see if everything's still working. Good deal. What was I about to do? I was about to do something. It's on tip of my mind. What was it? Good God. I actually stumbled on it. YouTube is being dumb and not notifying me when you're live. It's been doing that recently. It's blacklit. I feel like it's a shadow banned quite a few of us. Like, it's not doing as much as it used to. Give me 1 second, folks. I'm going to quickly share this really quick with several people. Live on YouTube. Phone died. Who do I want to share this with? There we go. Share this with you. I really probably should share this with the Facebook page, I suppose. Yeah, I'm going to go and do that right now. I'll share that with the Facebook page. Oh, son of a whore. How could you? Okay. Live reactions to spooky content. Come on and join me. Perfect. I'm not ignoring anybody. Not intentionally. Thank you. Post that shit. Exit out of that. And yes, I have notifications set to all. And it still didn't notify you. YouTube, get your shit together. You got all of your stuff going. And it's still... You know what? I did not check. You know, I did not check. Nope. Nope, I think that's good. Hit the like button, everybody. By the way. Oh, I remember what I was going to do. Reacting to spooky content live is a better live stream name, I think. Notifications have been off for me as well, even with other channels. So it's not just me, which is a good thing to hear. It's other people kind of struggling with it too. And also, there will be more content coming from Blame the Algorithm. There will be. We've already been talking about filming some exclusive content. For right now, for the time being, Andrew is probably not going to be joining us for a little while. He's got his own personal things going on in his personal life. But me, Hart, and Amber Dust have been talking about doing some like top 10 videos and things along those lines to get out there as soon as possible. I've already been making up my top 5 favorite horror films of all time. And I know they're going to be doing the same thing, and then we're going to be like doing a top 10 videos and whatnot. But yeah, it's been a little bit hectic lately in all of our lives. Things have been getting in the way, you know, how lives are and stuff. It gets busy, gets crazy, but we're planning on doing stuff here soon. Even more gaming live streams. I think we even want to start streaming over there on Blame the Algorithm. So like I've been thinking about you know, we'll probably even play some horror games again, like Devour. I think we've all been talking about Devour again. That might be a great time. So I fled to WoW? Are you going to continue Welcome to Derry? Yes. The reason why I have not continued is Welcome to Derry, and this is my problem with a lot of TV shows. I start TV shows, and then I automatically stop watching them. I don't know what it is about me, but I have a hard time doing it. I just started One Piece season 2, so if you guys are fans of One Piece, the live action, I actually started season 2. Episode 1 was posted today. I'm going to be doing the rest of the episodes tonight. I think for the most part, I'm going to be at least doing as many as I can. Really loving season 2 so far. I really enjoyed episode 1. I was like, God damn, they are showing a lot, but really cool. Episode 1's up now. And welcome to Derry. I don't have Max right now, so I have to re-get Max and then do a reaction. You see me, people just hopped on in here after I changed the name of that. I said reacting to spooky content, and then we jumped from like 31 to 38 viewers. Titles help out a lot. Anyways, I will be reacting to that show. I still remember where I left off, what was about to happen. We just got introduced to the clown. The clown was taken, like a picture of the clown was taken at the end of the episode, and that's where I remember we left off. So I will be getting back to that soon. I really was enjoying that. But yeah, for some reason, I start shows, and then I just can't finish them. I don't know what it is. Thankfully, it's not much longer until, Welcome to Derry's over, and I am enjoying it. Anyways.
Today's story is about one of the most haunted rooms in the world and what happens when you go inside of it. Now,
I need water. I'll be right back.
Reactions are nothing new. However, there is one man on a mission. One man on a mission who wants to prove the world a fakery. He used to follow all these paranormal charms. Now he's had enough. He is done. Jake Hart's heart is slowing down. Coming after all these paranormal.
Today on Fuckery, we are going to be traveling to a monstrous world. Let's go. Ew.
My name is Kenny Rogers, and this is Jackass.
Oh my.
Bitch. Andrew, save my life, please. Yep. He's gonna fuck me up. I just feel it. Oh, here we go. That's kicking. Ah!
Do it for the memes.
Woo! YOLO! Woo!
Shadow. No! Well, great. Now I gotta come down.
Now he's gonna go nuts.
Good gosh!
Oh! Oh, he fucking stabbed my ass! Where is it? Oh, God!
Oh boy.
Oh, my God! Andrew! Oh, my God! That is one fucking mean dog out there. That is right there. Okay, I am back. That was much needed. From how fast I was talking, I got parched real fast. Anyways, back to the story. My God.
Now, this particular account is from 200 years ago.
Oh, shit.
But the legend of what goes on inside of that room is still very much alive today. However, before we get into that story, if you're a fan of the strange, dark, and mysterious delivered in story format, then you've come to the right place because that's all we do, and we upload once a week. So, if that's of interest to you, please sneak into the like button's bathroom.
Now I have to skip this because his opening gives copyright claims and will ban video, so I have to skip his opening. So let me find where I need to be. Okay.
Late one evening in 1840, a 30-year-old British nobleman named Sir Robert Warboys stood next to 5 of his closest friends on the front porch of a townhome in one of the fanciest neighborhoods in London, England. The address of this townhome was 50 Berkeley Square, And it was one of dozens of these beautiful brick and marble townhomes that surrounded this big garden. The whole square had been built about 100 years earlier, and since then, it had become one of the most fashionable places for the rich and famous to call home. However, Robert and his friends had not come here to rub shoulders with important people. Instead, Robert had come here to win a bet. So Robert actually was a nobleman. He was like this proper guy, at least on paper. But in reality, at least to his friends, he had a total wild streak. He loved taking on dares. Basically, anytime anybody, challenged him to do something,
dude, the guy from the last story from Mr. Nightmare would have been perfect with this guy. He'd been perfect. He was a little bit of a daredevil himself. Not a smart one, but a bit of a daredevil. He would do the stupidest shit. So, yeah.
Would, especially if there was money on the line. But it wasn't really about the money. It wasn't about, winning money by doing these different things. He just loved the challenge. He loved the thrill of taking chances. So that night, on the front porch of his townhome, Robert turned and knocked on the front door. And then as soon as he did, he turned back and looked at his friends and grinned at them. And he saw some of them looked really excited and some looked pretty nervous. But to Robert, he was purely happy about how things were going so far. Because he knew, come tomorrow when this whole thing was done and he had won his bet, he would have a great story to tell. A few seconds later, the front door of the townhome swung open and this middle-aged man stepped outside. His name was Charles Benson, and while Robert and Charles did know each other, they were not close friends. They actually only knew each other because they both were members of the same exclusive gentlemen's club in London. Plus, pretty much everybody in London had at least heard of Charles, because of all the rumors swirling around about what went on inside of his townhome. Even though Robert...
What went on inside of his townhome? Not a real photo from the townhome.
Robert had told Charles that on this night, he and his buddies were coming to his townhome for this bet. Even though he had clearly told him, Charles still seemed very surprised to see Robert standing there. But Robert nonetheless was like, "Hey Charles, how are you? I'm here for the bet." And Charles basically didn't react. He just stared at Robert with this very concerned look on his face and just said, "Are you sure you really want to do this?"
Oh boy, what do we got going on here? I had a feeling that's where it was going to go, like with this concerned look on his face, like this might be taking it a little bit too far. What is he going to do? What is this?
And Robert, who knew what he was referencing, just kind of looked down at the pistol on his hip and said, "Yeah, I'm sure."
Is it going to be Russian roulette or something like that? Because that would explain why everybody would be so nervous. I'm not going to lie to you. One of my coworkers showed me a video for Russian roulette, but it was with people's feet. You have to be a complete idiot. I don't even think it's about being brave. I think it's just being a complete idiot if you play Russian roulette.
A few minutes later,
do it with a Nerf gun.
Robert and his 5 friends were inside of Charles' townhome in the dining room, sitting around a table, while Charles had gone upstairs to get something. And as they sat there, Robert kind of looked around the room at his friends, and he could tell they were clearly more nervous about this than he was. And so he tried to, keep the mood light by making some jokes and kind of downplaying what he was about to do, but it was like no matter what he did, he could just tell his friends were very uneasy about what was going to happen here. And then a moment later, they heard the sound of Charles coming down the stairs. And Charles, he came in the kitchen, still with a very serious look on his face, and he walked up to them, and he reached in his pocket, and he pulled out this old iron key.
Okay, I don't think it's Russian roulette.
Placed it in the middle of the table. And as soon as he did that, the room went completely silent, and everybody just stared at this key. And then Charles eventually broke the silence and explained to the group that over the last 10 years of living in this townhome, he had only used that key maybe 2 or 3 times total. And when the key was not in use, Charles said he actually hid the key just to make sure it never wound up in the wrong hands. But now, again with that somber look on his face, Charles looked over at Robert and said, "If you're really sure about this, the key is yours to take." And Robert, with no hesitation,
okay, it's not Russian roulette. It has nothing to do with Russian roulette. What is behind what? Okay, so they emphasized that he had a pistol. So obviously he thinks he's going to be fighting something, or you happen to use it potentially at some point. He's giving him a key, hopefully for not a room, what is in this room that is so terrible. I really can't tell you. Okay, we got to continue. I know we got to continue to find out the rest of the story. It's just I'm stumped where this is going.
reached out and snatched the key, showing his friends
He's way too confident. Yeah, something bad's gonna happen. He's probably gonna get killed.
and showing Charles that he was not about to get cold feet. A couple of minutes later, all the men stood up from the dining room table, and then Charles led the group up the thin, narrow, creaky staircase to the second floor. And when they got to the second floor, Charles led them down this narrow hallway that came to a stop in front of this closed door. At this point, all 7 men were kind of crowded together right in front of this door. But it was obvious that even though Charles lived in this townhome, he was sort of hesitant to get even close to this door. Like he really didn't want to be anywhere near it. Also, all
What
of
the
Robert's friends were sort of reacting the same way too. I mean, they were the ones that actually dared Robert to do this in the first place. But now that they were actually here, about to go through with it, they were looking at Robert like he was totally insane. And also they were kind of hoping that, maybe he would just back out and they could just leave. But Robert did not seem remotely like he was about to back out. He had a very determined look on his face, and as everybody else was kind of cowering away from this door,
He
Robert
walked right-
stepped up, reached into his pocket, pulled out that iron key,
Oh my
and put
god,
it into
dude.
the lock. And as he began
It's
to turn,
dangerous, dude. Some people are like that. They don't care. They want to prove you wrong. They want to show you that they will do whatever it takes, and they will do stupid shit to prove you wrong. Saying you guys are a bunch of sissies, open up a door, and I don't know what's behind it, but something potentially dark or evil or murderous could be behind that thing. I really don't play those kind of games with people like that because they will do it.
turned the lock, everybody else took steps farther away from him. And then he pulled open the door, and as he did, everybody gasped, and Robert even took a step backwards. But when Robert actually looked through the now open doorway,
There's nothing there.
he just laughed because it was just a normal bedroom. It was filled with all this old but very expensive looking furniture. On one side of the room was this big wooden dresser with a huge round mirror above it, and then on the opposite side of the room was this big 4-poster bed. And right above this bed, dangling down from the ceiling,
Chandelier?
was this red ribbon. Now, Robert knew that in a rich nobleman's house, there were ribbons like this one that are known as bell pulls. A nobleman could pull on that lever, and it was connected to a pulley system that rang a bell down in the servants' quarters. And when the servant heard that bell, they would see what room it was coming from, and they would go up to the room to see what the nobleman needed. And so after taking in the sight of this bedroom, Robert took a confident step into the room. And as soon as he did, Charles reached out and grabbed him by the wrist and said, "Hey, Robert, this is your last chance to change your mind. Are you sure
So the dare is to pull the ribbon. That's the dare. So it wasn't like there was something in the room, living in the room. It was like, don't pull this ribbon because something bad's going to happen. I don't know, man. Charles grabbing my wrist and saying, are you sure you want to do this? Might have changed my mind at that point. I might have actually started. I would, first off, I don't know, man. It's just, they're too confident. They are too confident something bad's going to happen. And I don't know if I wouldn't like take that. Granted, there are people who say Annabelle's haunted. I personally don't believe Annabelle's haunted. So I'll be like, oh, don't do it, no. No, I feel like I'd be fine after something, but I don't know.
want to go through with this?" And Robert kind of looked back at his friends and
Fuck yeah, I
smiled
do.
and said, "I'm sure. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning once I've won the bet." Then Robert released Charles's grip on his wrist, walked into the room, turned, shut, and locked the door. At this moment, Robert's friends
Oh, he's
didn't really
staying
know
the
what
night.
to do. They were still sort of shocked that Robert was actually going through with this.
He's staying the night there.
Even by his standards, this felt particularly reckless. They also felt kind of guilty. I mean, they were the ones who ultimately put him up to this. So, if Robert got hurt, which in theory could actually happen here, it would be partially their fault. And so Robert's friends turned to Charles to see what he was thinking. And Charles had this very grave, resigned expression on his face. And he just told them, "I have one more thing to show you before we go to bed." So Robert's friends followed Charles back down the hallway, down the stairs, past the dining room, towards the very back of the townhome. And when they got there, they found there was sort of like a studio apartment area back there. There was a kitchen area, a laundry area, and there were several beds. Charles explained this was where his servants lived and worked, but he had given them all the night off because he knew it was possible that Robert and his friends would be here for this bet, and they would need a place to stay. Charles pointed to a space right above the beds where there was this row of all these bells in a horizontal line. Each of these bells were connected to various bell pulls throughout the house, and he pointed to one particular. Each of these bells were connected.
So this is the actual. It says it's a real photo of something similar, but it's not specific on like if this is the actual one for that house.
To various bell pulls throughout the house, and he pointed to one particular bell and told them that that was the one that was connected to the bell pull in the room Robert was staying in tonight. And so he said it was their job tonight to constantly monitor that bell all night. So somebody had to be awake all night listening to that bell, because heaven forbid if Robert pulls that bell, that was going to be the signal that something bad had happened in that room. And so their job was basically to be on guard all night to potentially run up and rescue Robert if he needed it.
That's terrifying. That is scary.
Last year, we launched our very first graphic novel.
I
And
know.
it went great. I mean, it made the New York Times bestseller list, so
Congratulations on that, by the way. That was pretty dope, and I'm pretty sure they just released a second book.
around 3 hours later, all of Robert's friends were sitting on the floor in the servants' quarters playing blackjack. It was almost midnight, and all of them were exhausted, but they were too on edge to sleep. They were so focused on this bell, and they were so worried about Robert and, wondering if he was really okay up there. And they also had become convinced that, maybe the bell would ring and they wouldn't hear it if they were making too much noise. And so they had made this decision to silently play blackjack and just focus exclusively on this bell. But it had really created a lot of extra tension in the room. They're basically all just staring at the bell, dealing one hand after another, paranoid it would go off, and wondering what would even happen if it did.
I got a feeling
And
it's
so
gonna go
hand
off.
after hand, the friends are playing blackjack, anxiously watching this bell being completely silent. And then suddenly they hear this sound that makes them all jump. But it wasn't the bell. It was a blood-curdling scream coming from upstairs.
Oh, man. See, one of the things I like to do when I listen to these kind of stories is put myself in the scenario of a lot of these people. And what I would do in that situation, I'm going to tell you, like, I would, in real life, if I sent someone up there and then I heard a blood-curdling scream coming from them upstairs, my heart would have sank immediately. Whether it was a prank or not, my heart would have sank immediately.
And for a moment, the friends just sat there in shock, and then they got up and began running out of the servants' quarters to see what was going on. And as they did, Robert's bell began ringing furiously,
Fuck,
so
man.
loud it hurt their ears. And so they
Fuck.
charge out of the servants' quarters and literally bump into Charles, who also is coming to figure out what's going on. And as a group, they begin running up the stairs to the second floor. And all the while, the bell is ringing furiously. There's screams coming from Robert's bedroom. And by the time they got to the second floor, suddenly everything went silent. The ringing stopped, the screaming stopped. They're in the second floor in that hallway, and it's just deadly silent. And up ahead of them is that closed door. And so Charles and the group, they begin walking down the hall, having no idea what to expect. And right as they're about to reach the door, they hear this loud bang sound. And then silence again. Seconds later, Robert's friends were at that door, pounding on it, screaming for Robert, come open the door, because Robert was the only one with the key.
I was just sitting here thinking that too. I'm pretty confident Robert had the key, and when he's the one who locked it from the inside. So whatever's in that room is going to have to be the one to open it, because I'm pretty sure he's dead.
But Robert wasn't making any noise. The room was still totally silent. And so eventually the friends began kicking on this door to try to break it down. All the while, Charles is just kind of standing back in the hallway, watching this horrible thing unfold. And then finally, the friends manage to literally kick the door in. I mean, it's a 100-year-old house. The door gets kicked in, and the friends stumble into the room, and they look over towards the bedroom, and they all just freeze in shock. When Charles bought this townhome 10 years earlier, it came with a very dark backstory. The previous owner had apparently kept his violent and psychotic brother locked up inside of this.
Holy shit. Are they trying to say that this psychotic brother is potentially still in there, or his ghost is still in there?
Second floor bedroom where Robert was. And after this brother died inside of this
Fuck,
room,
man.
all these strange and frightening things began happening inside of this room. People began hearing these awful wailing sounds coming out of this room when nobody was in there, and then they'd go into the room and the wailing would stop, but furniture had been moved all around the room, even though, again, no one had been in there to do that. And then also, people began seeing this sort of amorphous gray figure sort of moving around inside of that room, especially at night, kind of slinking up against the wall and across the floor. And even though nobody had any idea what it was, it just felt like it was evil. And so they began calling it the Nameless Thing, and they referred to it as the physical manifestation of evil. However, not everybody believed this story. In fact, one person who absolutely did not believe the story was Robert Warboys. He thought this was just a tall tale designed to scare people. And so when his friends dared him to spend one night...
So did this guy really exist? This guy actually went into this room and he actually did die from something that we can't explain. I'm gonna have to do more research into that because, like, I'm obviously someone who looks for the logic. And, you know, shadows in a dark room where you could be paranoid, that's not really anything crazy. That actually could be explained. I'm just getting to that. I'm just one of those guys. I try to look for the logic here. And, you know, these stories are fun. They're creepy. And this is a certainly fun, creepy story. I just gotta do more. I gotta look into this more because I really want to know if this was actually, he did say it was like a legend. It's a creepy story, man.
Inside of that bedroom
creepy.
where supposedly the Nameless Thing lived, he happily accepted because to him, it didn't seem risky at all. You know, spending one night in the haunted room was no big deal because it's not actually haunted. He'd be fine. And anyways, it would make for a great story to tell down at the Gentleman's Club. Unfortunately though, the night in that bedroom did not go as Robert hoped. When Robert's friends burst through the bedroom door and looked inside,
Actually did die.
the first thing they noticed was the bell pull, the ribbon from the ceiling, had been yanked out of the ceiling, and Robert's pistol was on the ground next to the bed. And then on the other side of the room, there was a very obvious bullet hole in the wall. And so that was the loud bang sound they heard as they were coming down the hall. It was the pistol going off. And then there was Robert. Robert was laying on the bed.
Jesus! Man, that actually kind of made me jump a little bit. I'm like, all right, you know.
He was totally rigid, and he actually was still clutching the red ribbon from the bell pull. And as they stared at him, they saw his eyes were wide open and bloodshot, and his lips were kind of pulled back in this horrible grimace with his teeth exposed. And for a second, his friends thought Robert must be having a seizure of some kind. That's why he was so tight on the bed like that. And so they ran to him, trying to snap him out of it. But as soon as they touched him, they realized that the reason he was rigid was not because of a seizure. It was because Robert was dead. That night, Charles would call the local coroner, who would come by and take Robert's body, and also he would open up an official inquest into Robert's death to figure out what had happened to him. And the verdict of this inquest was that Robert had died from massive heart failure caused by unknown circumstances. But to Charles and all of Robert's friends who were there that night and actually saw Robert in the room, it seemed plainly obvious that what had happened here was Robert had come in contact with the so-called Nameless Thing in that room, and it literally scared him to death. In the nearly 200 years since Robert's death, 50 Berkeley Square has had many different owners, and virtually all of them have reported either seeing, feeling, or hearing some sort of malevolent, ghostly presence inside of that second floor bed.
But I'm assuming nobody else has died from this thing. Now, I am going to try to look at the logic here too. Here's the thing, you know, Robert did sound like he was very confident and cocky about going into this room, and I am somebody who believes in the paranormal. I actually genuinely do. I find this stuff extremely fascinating. Do I believe everything that I see in here? No, of course not. A lot of stuff can be easily explained. Now, the first thing I'm going to try to, if this really happened, if Robert was in this room and let's say the paranoia got to him, you know, let's say he actually was scared of something. And then something did happen, right? Something small or something that was being slowly built up in his mind. Have you ever been in bed, laying there in the pitch black dark, listening to the noises around the house? And then your mind starts slowly kind of feeding into that thought, that process of something's going on here that I can't explain. And the buildup just continuously happens to where even the smallest of noises in that room at some point might feel like it's been elevated to a point where you actually feel like something real is happening. Do you think that could have been the cause of why maybe Robert had a panic attack or maybe an actual heart attack? Is it potential? I'm not sitting here saying that it's not haunted. You know, again, I believe in hauntings. I believe in the supernatural. And this place has an interesting story behind it. Man, if someone could do more research into this location, that would be amazing. But I'm assuming nobody else has died since. So, it's not like a reoccurring thing that's happened over and over and over again. Which I do think that does say a lot about a location, too. Like, we get one report of somebody dying, like 200 years ago, and then all of a sudden, it's never happened again. Why has it never happened again? That makes no sense. Maybe there was a reason why Robert was the one who actually had something happen to him. Like, physically in his body. Maybe there was something there that caused something to happen in that room that night. I don't know. I'm fascinated though. That's a cool story, man. It's spooky. It's a little spooky story.
To this day, that particular bedroom where the nameless
Real article about the Nameless Thing. Wow. Yep, there it is. Nameless Thing claims another victim. Sailor slain in haunted London abode. A body found in the basement of 50 Berkeley Way, London. Wow. It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool, isn't it? Hey, Shape, how are you doing, man? Thank you so much for hopping on in. It's kind of cool. I like that.
thing
Okay.
apparently resides. It's considered one of the most haunted places in the entire world.
And it looks like he's about to talk about his book. Hey, what's up, Reed? Hey, Mindtastic, how you doing? Welcome to the live stream, everybody. Be sure to hit the like button, by the way. That's an easy way to support these videos if you guys like these live reaction videos. What should we react to next? Most terrifying night in the woods story I've ever told.
Today's story.
Okay. We should do the Ghost Files episode of Ryan and Shane ghost hunting with their wives. That could be interesting. Yeah. Your brother is getting married. Well, congratulations to your brother. That's awesome. Hold on one second. 1 second. Okay, my phone is getting somewhat charged. I was going to message people about this, but my phone literally died before I could even. So give me 1 second to make sure that those messages actually went through. His neck healed. They went to the Winchester. Bear with me for just a minute. Okay, so we got 2 videos down so far. It does not look like my message went through to the people I wanted it to. That's unfortunate. Oh, it did. Bear with me. How's everybody's night going, by the way? You guys enjoying this? The creepy stuff? He had a bad mark on his neck? Oh, yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I saw that. I think I mentioned that in my last reaction I did to Mr. Ballin, too. I'm like, oh, what happened to his neck? That's interesting. Okay. Well, my phone is still on the charger. Let's go ahead and dive into this one. It was a herpy.
Story is a classic, scary cabin in the forest.
Okay, we gotta skip.
A 47-year-old woman.
Reason why we had to skip is because his opening gives copyright claims.
A 47-year-old woman named Ada Quintal stepped out of her family's cabin in rural Michigan to take her dog for a walk and have a smoke. It was very late. It was about 1:30 in the morning. Now, this cabin where she was staying was very isolated. It was about a half mile away from any neighbors, but Ada actually enjoyed the
Love when he gets the real photos of the locations. Look at this little cabin, man. It's kind of a nice cabin. I wouldn't mind having one of those, actually. And, you know, I haven't mentioned anything about this in a while. Speaking of cabins, houses, and whatnot, we hit 10% on the GoFundMe goal. That's crazy. 10% for like purchasing this house. I literally have no words to describe my gratitude for that. I haven't mentioned anything. It's been like several months now, but I feel like I should probably mention something, that the fact that we hit like 10% is just crazy to me. So thank you so much for everybody who has donated. I really appreciate that. That means the world. Thank you. Anyways.
Solitude. You know, she was surrounded on all sides by forest and swamps, and the wilderness actually made Ada feel a lot safer than when she was back home in the densely populated Detroit area where she lived full time. And this was because just a few months earlier, when she had been back home in Detroit, she had been the victim of an unprovoked attack. She had been out in the city around all these people in broad daylight.
Stories are interesting. Yeah,
and this guy came up to her and just jumped her, broke her nose, gave her a concussion, and then ran off. But the scariest part of this attack was not the fact that she had been brutalized. It was that this guy did not appear to have any reason to attack her. He didn't know Ada, and Ada had not been robbed or anything.
Unfortunately, the scary part about the world we live in is that it really is just anybody can attack you now. They don't have to have a reason. You know, mentally, their reason could be like, I need money. They're psychotic. There's so many fucking people losing their shit anymore, man. And it's like, people are just getting randomly attacked. And it's unfortunate. It's scary. It's scary. You can't trust people. You can't trust people. Literally, the other night, I was out here with somebody, and no joke, we started hearing somebody singing. And immediately, I'm like, there's like a meth head running around right now. And lo and behold, there he is, over there by the factory. And we're like, yep, let's go ahead and go. And, you know, for all we know, the guy could have been nice. But you don't take those risks because you just never know. Never know. Anyways.
It was like he just randomly identified her and attacked her. And the guy had never been caught. And so this ordeal had had such a profound impact on Ada that it really began to affect her health, both mentally and physically. She started to just kind of decline. And on top of that, she had been laid off from her engineering job. And so now she was unemployed and seriously depressed. And so recently, when Ada's uncle had called her and offered to pay her to come out and live in this 2-story family cabin and fix it up for the winter, Ada had jumped at the chance. I mean, not only would this solve her unemployment issue, but also she loved this cabin. It had been in her family for 75 years, and some of her fondest childhood memories were in this cabin. And so she looked at this as a chance to kind of get away from the city and just be in her happy place and kind of reset and recover from the trauma of the attack. And so for the past week, Ada and her boyfriend had been staying in this cabin and doing small repairs and cleaning it up. But 2 days earlier, her boyfriend had to leave and go back to the city where they were actually fixing up another property, a condo. And so now it was just Ada and her dog. But that was totally fine with Ada. She liked being out here by herself, so this was no big deal. But tonight, she was feeling frustrated because she couldn't sleep. About an hour earlier, she had taken a pill to help her sleep, but so far it hadn't worked, and so she was feeling kind of wired and anxious. And so she had decided to go on a walk with her dog in hopes that that would clear her mind and allow her to finally get some rest. Now, these roads that surrounded this cabin were kind of small and zigzaggy, and, you know, there weren't any street lights. I mean, this is not exactly a good place to go for a nighttime walk.
Yeah, well, I'm surprised she would want to go for a nighttime walk, considering what happened to her. I'd be avoiding that shit like the plague. I couldn't imagine, like, being jumped by a random stranger would be, like, anything to get over anytime soon. At all. More than likely, they will never get over it. That might, stick with them.
Knew this place like the back of her hand, and she also carried a 9mm pistol in her pocket, you know, just...
All right, well, fuck what I just said. If she has a 9mm, there you go.
For protection. And so after walking for a few minutes down one of these dark, winding roads, Ada's dog stopped to relieve himself on a bush. So as the dog was going to the bathroom, Ada just casually smoked and waited. But at some point, the dog just stopped going to the bathroom, turned slightly, and began growling, and its ears perked up, and it was looking off into the darkness right ahead of them. And so Ada instinctively took her flashlight and raised it up and aimed it in the direction her dog was looking.
Yep.
And right away, the cone of light illuminated these two eyes looking right back at Ada. And immediately, Ada knew what she was staring at. It was a mountain lion. And so...
If this dog gets killed by this mountain lion, I don't know if I want to continue. That's going to make me depressed, man. The last time I listened to a Mr. BALLEN story, it was the elephant one. That was tough to get through. I really didn't like that one at all. That was really tough.
Doing her best to stay calm, Ada slowly reached into her pocket to pull out her gun, but before pulling it out, the two eyes blinked shut, and then she heard it kind of turn and run off into the forest. It was gone. Once Ada was sure the mountain lion really was gone, she breathed a sigh of relief and then very quickly tugged on her dog's leash. They turned around and she hustled back towards the cabin. When Ada reached her cabin, which was all lit up because she had left all the lights on before she had left, she jumped up the front steps, she opened up the door, she went inside with her dog, and after letting her dog off the leash, she shut and locked the door. Then she grabbed her phone and texted her boyfriend to tell him about this mountain lion. And then after hitting send, Ada felt relieved to be back in her cabin, but at the same time, she still felt very on edge.
I got a bad feeling, guys. I got a bad feeling. Mountain lion's not introduced once just to not to just disappear, right? We got to expect something to happen here. I am too. Oh man, I've heard some scary stories about the experiences with mountain lions off in the middle of the woods. As a matter of fact, wasn't it not that long ago when a hiker was killed by a mountain lion? They found her body. I can't remember what it was. I feel like it was here in Ohio, as a matter of fact. Yeah, and they found the mountain lion, and I guess they put it down.
And, just a few feet away from a mountain lion in the middle of the night, in the middle of nowhere. But as Ada was doing her best to calm herself down, she heard this noise coming from outside the living room window, almost like twig snapping, like somebody was walking past the window. And so the way this cabin was set up is when you first walked inside, you were in the kitchen, and then the back half of the cabin was a living room, and then there were also stairs leading up to a second floor. But from in the kitchen, you had a clear line of sight into the living room and vice versa. It was kind of like one big room with two functions. And so from where Ada was standing in the kitchen, she could clearly see the window in the living room where this noise had kind of come through. But because the inside of the cabin was all lit up and the outside was dark, from her perspective, all she could see was a reflection on that window. So to look outside that window to see what had made that noise, she would need to get right up next to the window. And so feeling pretty nervous at this point, she walked across the cabin, she made her way towards this window, and then she pressed her face right up against the glass to look outside.
Yep.
But all she saw outside was just darkness. I mean, there was nothing out there. And so Ada stepped back from the window and started to wonder if maybe the sound she had just heard was maybe that mountain lion,
You know what I would do if I was living in a cabin in the middle of the woods? I would get some spotlights. Like you hit a switch and they all turn on. And they face in every direction of the property. Especially if there are mountain lions out there. I'd like to know if there's a mountain lion walking around my yard late at night before I walk my dog.
Maybe it followed her back here. That was terrifying, but at least she was inside. But also she was thinking to herself, mountain lions are not known for being aggressive towards humans, and they wouldn't come up to her cabin like this and prowl around outside. That's just not what mountain lions do. But Ada didn't really have any other explanation.
Well, I'd assume the dog would be the reason why they'd be curious. Not really the person, but the dog, right? Like, would we? I'd assume so. Like, yeah, no, mountain lions, again, aren't, like Hart said, I'm pretty sure, that mountain lions normally keep their distance from people, and that's normally why it's always a shock when we find out, a mountain lion killed somebody. Well, because they're normally not trying to. People are not their first targets when they see a person, a human being. But the dog is a different story. The dog might be why the mountain lion was even curious to begin with, and why it showed itself, for all we know.
She told herself, it's got to be nothing. There's nothing out there. This is a safe place. And so she kind of forgot about the noise, and she took off her coat and put her stuff down, and then she sat down on the couch in the living room, turned on the TV, and tried to relax. But only about 20 minutes later...
I don't know if I could relax. I would have to make sure I knew what was making those noises.
Ada had finally relaxed and was even thinking about getting into her bed and going to sleep. She heard another noise coming from that same window in the living room. And this time, when she looked up and looked out that window,
Is it Bigfoot?
Despite the reflections inside the cabin, she could clearly tell there was something moving outside of her cabin.
A bear?
And it was definitely not a mountain lion. It looked like a man.
Oh,
And so Ada
yep.
had to stifle a scream, and then instinctively she lunged for her gun on the coffee table, and then darted behind the couch and crouched down to make sure whoever was out there
this is
couldn't
not
see
good.
her.
Dude, if this was, like, I'm kind of scared. Let's say this was her boyfriend, and he didn't message her saying, I'm coming over. She said apparently she sent him, a message about telling about the mountain lion. What if he came back to, like, check it out to make sure the mountain lion was around, and then he went to go open the door, and she is so fucking paranoid about being, like, attacked again that she just shoots her boyfriend? I mean, yeah, I would have at least, called, say, hey, I'm walking around the property right now. Don't shoot me by accident.
And then, with gun in hand, she began calling out to the person out there that, hey, I'm armed. If you come in here, I'm going to shoot you. But it was just silence. And then Ada
Holy
strained
shit.
her ears to try to hear any sound that would give away where this person went. Were they still outside that window? Had they moved somewhere else? but all she could hear was the sound of the wind whipping outside and an owl hooting off in the distance. But then, right as Ada was starting to wonder, did I really see somebody out there? Is this all in my head? That's when she heard the distinct sound of footsteps on her front porch.
Fuck
and so
my
again,
life,
Ada
man.
had to stifle a scream, and she darted to the other side of the couch, preventing the person from the front of the house to seeing her now. Then she grabbed her phone and she was dialing 911, and she was about to hit call when she stopped herself. And she began to wonder, am I just totally overreacting here? I don't know if there's somebody out there. I could be hearing things. Or maybe it's just like an animal or something. And also...
But she just said that she saw something that was obviously not a mountain lion. I guess it could be a bear. I guess it could be an animal. Maybe not a mountain lion, but an animal. I don't think you could... I don't know, man. I would take the risk. I'd take the risk of making myself look stupid if it meant the police showing up and me being 100% okay and in the safe. I would take that risk.
Deep down, Ada knew that ever since that attack in Detroit that summer, that basically everything scared her. And she was starting to wonder if maybe she was just being totally paranoid and there was nothing going on. And she didn't want to embarrass herself by calling 911 and having them come out here and finding nothing. And so Ada decided she would call her boyfriend, and so she called her boyfriend, and as the phone is ringing, she's listening intently for any other footsteps outside, but she can't hear anything. And then her boyfriend, he didn't pick up. It's also like 2:30 in the morning at this point, but her boyfriend doesn't answer. And so after that, she tries calling one of her friends, and her friend does pick up. And right away, Ada just began telling this friend about all the things that had happened that night, from going out and seeing the mountain lion, and then coming back in, hearing the sound, and now hearing the footsteps on the front porch. And, she was worried that maybe she was just making it all up, but she was still really scared. And even though Ada was trying to be composed as she was telling her friend, her voice began to crack.
Yeah,
and
not
she began
easy.
to cry because she really was scared. And the friend just said, look, I'm going to call the police on your behalf. It seems like it's worth having them come out just to make sure you're really okay. Give me the address and I'll tell them where to go. And so Ada would give her friend the address.
Okay, cool.
She told the friend, thank you, but do not call right now. Just please stay on the phone for
You don't wait. I'm sorry. Like, I understand. I think I would... No, I've been in situations like this, and normally I do take the request of my friend. If they really don't want them out there or really don't need the help, then I'm not going to push it, So the friend's probably going to be like, okay, no problem. Let me know when you want me to call. I'll call them. And then they hang up, and that's about it. Sometimes you just got to go for it. Sometimes you just got to do it because shit happens. Don't underestimate things, man. People are psychos out there. There are psychos.
minute, and let me just do a quick investigation. Let me look out the windows, and just really make sure that this is nothing before you call the police. And so the friend said, okay, look around, but then I'm calling the police. And so with her phone and her gun in hand, Ada very carefully crept out from behind the couch, keeping a low profile, staying below the sight line of all the
my God, I'm so
windows.
nervous.
And she crept from the living room into the kitchen towards the front of the house, and she walked over to the sink, and she very slowly raised her head until she could just barely peek through the window right above the sink that overlooked the front porch. Because remember, that was the last place she had heard sounds, from the front porch. And so she very carefully peeks and looks out the window.
Oh my God.
And there's nothing there. Nobody's on the porch. It's just empty, dark forest. She's safe. Ada let out a relieved half cry, half laugh, and then stood all the way up and felt totally ridiculous because clearly she had just imagined, all these people.
She didn't check the full property, though. She didn't, actually look out all the windows, and she didn't do that. She just looked at the front door, whatever, looked at the front porch, and then just assumed that it was in her head. First you told the person if they were out there that you had a gun. They're not going to make it obvious anymore. They're going to sneak. So at that point, you'd be better off just to call the police and have the police show up and then search the entire property. And then if there is somebody out there, they would find them. I'm getting nervous.
People wandering around the outside of her house. And so she was about to tell her friend that, hey, sorry, there is no issue here. Don't call the
About
police.
to tell.
But before she could get the words out, Ada happened to turn around and was looking back towards the living room, and she froze. Because there, in that same window she had heard those sounds coming from in the living room, was now the silhouettes of two men.
Fuck, it's always two guys. It's always two guys in these situations, man. I'd have opened fired. I'd have killed them both right there. Yep, call the police, and then boom, boom, boom. I told you.
Just looking in the window right at Ada. And so acting purely on instinct, Ada just raised her gun and aimed it at these two men, and to her horror, the two men also raised guns.
Okay, it escalated. It escalated pretty fast. Oh my god. Worst case scenario. Worst case scenario, man. They also raised weapons. It's about to be a shootout. This is the shit that scares me. Okay? I love the paranormal. I love spooky stuff. I would love to go cryptid hunting. Oh my god, any day of the week. This is the real fear, man, that would go, oh my god. Actually being like in a situation where you might have to pull a gun and actually have a gunfight with strangers. Like, oh my god, I couldn't even imagine. Dude. Okay, let's see how this goes. I don't think it's gonna go good.
And aimed them right back at Ada. And so Ada just started firing her gun at the window, and these men began shooting back at her, and right before Ada leapt to the ground, she was pretty sure she hit one of the men in the head with one of her rounds.
Damn! Took one of them down.
So she lands on the ground. It's absolute pandemonium at this point. And her friend, who's still on the phone, is screaming like, what's going on?
Call the police! Is what I've been
going on. And all Ada could think to do was yell out, there's two men, they're shooting at me, I think I shot one of them. And the friend is screaming, I'm gonna call the police. And then the line goes dead. And Ada, who's crouched down behind the kitchen island at this point, she realizes all the shooting has stopped. It's now dead silent in the cabin. And so for a second, Ada was thinking to herself, maybe I managed to shoot both of them, and that's why it's quiet right now. But then another thought began to enter her head, that maybe she had only shot one of them, and the other survivor was moving into position to maybe ambush her. And so as she's running through what she's gonna do, she hears this horrible, loud thumping sound right above her in the second floor of the cabin. Now, Ada knew at this moment, she should just get her dog and run. Because if this second shooter has survived and has now come into her cabin and is upstairs, that means the forest is now clear and she can make a run for it. But as she sat there by the island, still clutching her gun, you know, in this beloved family cabin of hers.
Dude, I wouldn't even be surprised if she let all of her ammo go. Being as paranoid as she was and as scared as she was, she probably let loose with everything she had. She's not ready for another gunfight.
She began thinking about the fact that ever since that attack in Detroit over the summer, you know, that had totally wrecked her life and made her scared of everything. And so as she heard the sound of whoever this was marching around in her second floor, she made a decision. She was going to stand her ground and fight. And so she took a deep breath, she stood up.
Like, I admire the courage, I really do, but man... I just fear for the worst right now. You know, it's one of the things, when it comes to true crime, man, it makes me sad to hear stories like this. It really does. I really do feel horrible for situations like this. I see some people are actually guessing that she could be hallucinating, and maybe she is. Who knows, for all I know. We'll see. We'll see.
Gun in hand, she made her way to the stairs and began to go up.
She's really setting herself up to get shot and killed. I just want to know how the hell the guy even managed to like get up there. Did he like climb the roof and go through one of the windows? I don't know.
It's no secret that a lot of the story.
Okay.
The police arrived at the cabin about 30 minutes later because Ada's friend did call the police, and she warned them that as far as she knew, there could be at least 2 gunmen there, and maybe Ada had shot one of them. She wasn't sure. And so when the police arrived, they showed up, you know, guns drawn, and they walked up to the cabin and they searched the outside, but there was nobody out there. It was silent. And then when they made entry into the cabin, they saw clearly there had been a shootout.
Okay, so first thing I'm already kind of seeing is that if she had shot one of the guys in the head, as she believes she shot one of them in the head, he would have been lying dead in the yard. Right? And they haven't said anything about seeing the body. So either the dude who got into the house took the body and ran, or she was really hallucinating it all, and then something happened.
I mean, there were bullet holes all over the place, broken windows, but after searching the cabin top to bottom, they didn't find anybody. No Ada, no shooters. However, they did find Ada's terrified dog inside of the cabin, and the dog would be just fine.
Oh!
Now, once the cabin was
Well, that's good at least. My God, I'm not trying to underplay anything that's happened here. Like, this is really a scary story, but dog lived. That's good. You guys might be right. This might have been a hallucination. That's crazy. I don't know. We'll see.
secured of any
We'll see.
threats, the police would do another comprehensive search looking for any evidence that would kind of tell them, where Ada or these shooters had gone. And during this secondary search, they would find Ada's shoes and her cell phone on the roof of the cabin, and they would also find her gun on the ground not far from the roof, suggesting maybe she had fallen off the roof or jumped from the roof, but they were kind of located roughly in the same area. And during this secondary search, they wouldn't find Ada or the gunman, but they would find Ada's cell phone and her shoes on the roof of the cabin, and they would also find Ada's gun on the ground not far from where her shoes and cell phone had been found. But that was it. Police immediately launched a massive search in the forest surrounding the cabin, but despite looking all over the place, they could not find any signs of Ada or her attackers. Police checked local hospitals to see if maybe the man that Ada had shot had shown up seeking medical attention, but as far as they could tell, he hadn't. And so pretty quickly, the police theorized that maybe there were no gunmen. Maybe what really happened here is Ada's boyfriend attacked her, and he was responsible for whatever happened to her. But when police checked on Ada's boyfriend, it would turn out he had a rock-solid alibi. He had been with Ada's adult son at the time Ada had gone missing. And Ada's own son said, yes, for sure, he was with me. He did not do this. But after that, the police thought, okay, well, maybe if Ada's boyfriend didn't do this, maybe he hired other people to hurt Ada. But there was no evidence of any strange financial transactions, and as far as they could tell when they did some digging, there was no strife in Ada and her boyfriend's relationship. So there was no clear reason why he would want to hurt her. And so that lead also kind of fell flat. Police would confirm that Ada was attacked that previous summer by this random guy in Detroit. And so for a little while,
that
they
also
speculated
could
that,
be
maybe this guy, this attacker, who had never been...
Right, but that also could be why she might have had an episode, was because of the fear building up.
Maybe this guy, this attacker, who had never been caught, had maybe tracked Ada down to finish off the job. But that seemed so far-fetched and just unlikely that that basically was shut down as well. And as the days passed, the evidence that was coming in only made the case more confusing. For example, there were all these bullets fired during this big shootout in the cabin, and when they examined the actual bullets they extracted from the walls and the floor and the ceiling, they were all from Ada's gun. However...
Holy shit, so you guys might have actually been right. Because if it was an actual shootout, there would have been bullets from other guns too, but there wasn't, apparently. Wow. Wow.
Outside and inside the cabin, they found all these different shell casings, suggesting that those bullets had been fired from different weapons, i.e., maybe the attacker's weapons. And so as the weeks passed by and Ada and her attackers were not found, people began to speculate that, maybe this was all an elaborate setup by Ada just so she could disappear. Or other people thought maybe she was abducted by aliens. I mean, there were lots of theories surrounding this, but basically nobody knew what happened. And then pretty soon, the case just went completely cold. That is, until December 21st, 2019, so about 2 months after Ada's disappearance. And on that day, Ada's family decided to drain a pond that was near that cabin in the woods. At this point, the family was so desperate for closure that they were prepared to do just about anything to find Ada and to figure out what happened to her. And so even though this pond had previously been searched by the police, they drained this pond, and sure enough, they find Ada. She was deceased, and her body was found about 300 yards away from the cabin, and she was covered in only about a foot of water. Now, initially, the speculation was, well, here you go. She must have been chased out of her cabin by these attackers, and she was shot and killed, and this is where she fell. But after a quick examination of her body, it was clear she had no bullet wounds on her anywhere. In fact, she didn't even have any bruises on her or any major scrapes or cuts or anything, so it didn't even seem like she had been in any sort of physical struggle at all before she died. In fact, unless she had drowned, it really just seemed totally unclear how she had died. It was not until the medical examiner did Ada's autopsy that all this baffling evidence began to make sense. It would turn out, in the wake of that horrible random attack that Ada had suffered over the summer, that Ada was actually doing far worse than she let on to her family and friends. She had basically begun to cope with her trauma and anxiety with substance abuse. And so on the...
It wasn't paranoia. And that played a part in it, no doubt. She was doing drugs. Man. That's crazy, man. That's
night that she
crazy.
had died, she was likely feeling totally stressed out and anxious, and she couldn't sleep as a result. And so she had taken some Valium, which is a fairly strong sedative, and also some anti-anxiety medication. But after taking those pills, she still wasn't tired. And so that was when she decided to, go out for a walk with her dog, to clear her head, and have a smoke. But it was not cigarettes that she was smoking. She was smoking methamphetamine, known simply as meth. And meth is a very strong stimulant that people like because it makes them feel very strong and confident and alert, which for Ada was a powerful antidote to the helplessness she was feeling all the time from the attack she had suffered that summer. But one of the many downsides of meth is that it can make you extremely paranoid. And so during her walk that night...
Well, she was already scared at the idea of being attacked again. Doing methamphetamine, raising your paranoia to an all-time high, seeing that mountain lion. I'm not sure when she started taking the methamphetamine, but it kind of makes you think, like, was even the mountain lion real, right? Or was she imagining that too? Everything building up. Holy shit, this took a turn, man.
As she's smoking meth, she sees a mountain lion, which terrifies her, and then after the mountain lion trots off...
So she started smoking when she was out walking her dog. So she was smoking the methamphetamine, and then sees this mountain lion, which actually could have been a real mountain lion, but that added into her paranoia, this mountain lion. And then she goes back there, she starts thinking about the mountain lion, she starts hearing noises, she doesn't see a mountain lion, now she's starting to think people are... stalking her cabin. Then she sees these people mentally and then open fires and thinking that, we're about to have a... And the dog could have been the reason why she heard the walking upstairs. The dog was probably the reason why she went upstairs and then got all scared and freaked out. Wow.
It was like that jolt of adrenaline and fear from seeing the mountain lion didn't subside because of smoking meth. It was like the meth sent her into this paranoia overdrive that she couldn't escape from. And so when Ada went back inside of her cabin, she very likely did see people in her windows. But almost certainly it was just her own reflection. But again, she's in this meth-induced paranoid state. And so instead of realizing it was her own reflection, she thought it was like intruders coming to get her. And before long, she'd raised her gun and thought the people outside were raising their gun back at her. But again...
It makes sense now. She saw her own reflection raising the gun and then thought that was them raising the gun, and then she opened fire, thinking that they were about to fire at her.
It's just her reflection. And so when she was shooting, she was basically having a shootout with herself. And then as for, the strange noises she was hearing...
So like when she jumped to the ground and that maybe she thought she shot one of them, right? I don't know where the house was. I just know it was a cabin in the middle of the woods. And looking at the pictures, by the way, it looks like it was a bit run down and needed a lot of work. So there could have been mold. There could have been other things that could have involved themselves with this. 100%. I don't know. I haven't seen the infrastructure of the house. But yeah.
The footsteps on the second floor, very likely those were just natural sounds kind of happening outside. She's out in the middle of a forest. There's lots of noises that are totally natural at night. But again, she's in this paranoid state, and so she went upstairs to confront the person, and then didn't see anybody, and then police theorized that she must have, climbed out onto the roof to hide from these attackers, and then at some point, for reasons unknown, she leapt from the roof or climbed down or something, leaving behind her cell phone and shoes on the roof. She left her gun on the ground, and then she ran off into the forest, where she ultimately collapsed, 300 yards away in a foot of water, where she died not from drowning, but from a combination of hypothermia and also a toxic combination of drugs in her system. And so in the end, the danger that Ada was trying to escape was in her own mind.
It's a nice cabin, too. What a story. What a sad story. What a sad scenario. How do we know that man was healthy to begin with? No, no, you're fine. It's okay to like think about this stuff too. I mean, there could be other possibilities, other things that could have added on into this. I watched a neighbor methed out and argue with what he believed was a ghost and shot his gun in the house in town. So, I mean, it's very much possible. It's very much possible. Wow. What a hell of a story, though. Took turns I was not expecting. Okay, let's take a break with Mr. Ballin. That was a good one. That was a good one. Let me use the bathroom really quick. I drank a lot of water, so let me use the bathroom really quick, guys. Talk amongst yourselves for a few minutes, and I will be right back to do another reaction. Comment in the chat right now. What would you like to see me react to next? Now, let's not do anything crazy. It's not like make it an hour, 2-hour long video or something like that. But if there's any like other channels like along like Mr. Ballin or Nuke's Top 5 or maybe something like that, let me know. Let me know. I'll be right back, guys.
Reactions are nothing new. However, there is one man on a mission. One man on a mission who wants to prove the world a fakery. He used to follow all these paranormal charms. Now he's had enough. He is done. Jake Hart's art slowing down. Coming after all these paranormal.
Today on Fuckery, we are going to be traveling to a monstrous world. Let's go. Ew.
My name is Kenny Rogers, and this is Jackass.
Oh my.
Bitch. Andrew, save my life, please. Yep. He's gonna fuck me up. He's gonna fuck me up. I just feel it. Nope, here we go. That's kicking. Ah!
Do it for the memes.
Woo! Yoda! Woo!
Shadow. No! Well, great. Now I gotta come down.
And now he's gonna go down.
Good go!
Oh! Oh, fucking stab my ass! Where is it? Oh, God!
Oh boy.
Oh, my God! Andrew! Andrew! Oh, my God! That is one fucking mean dog out there. That is right there.
Tell him he can't react because Jake Hart's has your back. No one dare tell him he can't react.
Okay, have you guys decided what you guys want to see next? Oh God, not a cabin. It's more believable. Mr. Ballin does his research. He will make it clear beforehand it's not true. What's interesting, the neighbor's wife brought in a Ouija board at the consignment action. So yeah, that's creepy. They were odd for sure. Okay. Extremely disturbing camping story. That could be a fun one. Still possible. Let's switch it up a little bit. Scary animated stories. Yeah? Yeah? Scary 10. Oh, well, 10 scary true stories animated compilation. That's a long video though, man. It's just an hour, 2-hour video. There we go. Okay. I found one. Jordan salad fingers. What is that supposed to mean? What? What? You don't know? Salad fingers YouTube? What is even? Well, I'm about to learn, all right? Calm down. I'm about to learn. Salad fingers.
Hello. I like rusty spoons.
Oh, it's one of these kind of videos.
I like to touch them. The feeling of rust against my salad fingers is almost orgasmic.
What have you done? This isn't scary.
I must find the perfect spoon.
Don't go near that house. Leave that family alone. Don't answer it. Oh my God, look at that
Hello
freak.
there, young child.
Oh, it's a child, my apologies.
I'm here to inquire about your spoons.
I don't like how he says that. I don't like how he does that.
Might I ask where you keep the spoons?
Kitchen?
I see. Then I must leave. But first, I'd like to caress this rusty kettle. Oh. Hello. Today I'm having a little get-together with my friends.
The fact that he has friends. The fact that he has friends.
Oh. Hello there, chaps. You arrived earlier than I expected. And might I say, you are looking rather splendid this evening. This is Hubert Cumberdale,
Oh my.
Marjorie Stewart Baxter, and this is Jeremy Fisher. Say hello.
Oh, please, God, no.
I wonder what you taste like.
Oh, please don't start sucking them. It's painful. This is actually painful. I have not seen content like this in a good long minute. The shit that just makes me want to just... This... You know how many views this got, by the way? This is a 2 million subscriber channel for making this. Oh my God. I mean, congratulations. That's fantastic. Okay.
Marjorie Stewart Baxter,
don't-
you taste like sunshine dust.
What the fuck is even that?
Oh, Hubert Cumberdale, you taste like Sutton poo.
The fact he
I've
knows.
got a fish in the oven. If anyone's interested.
Alors, Nabila, comment t'appelles-tu? Qu'est-ce qu'il y a?
Pardon me? Who's this?
Help. Help me. Help.
This is like some Beetlejuice shit. Now we're getting into like the horror element now.
Oh, thank goodness. I think the heavens must have sent you. I've got a fish cooking in the oven.
I don't like the way he talks. I don't like the sound it makes when he talks. Oh, but he just can't reach it. This guy, this is not a surprise though. Look at this freak. Would you expect any less?
But I just can't reach it. It's right at the back. With your supple little frame, you might be able to squeeze in and get it for me. It's right at the back.
Just go ahead and do it.
I can't thank you enough for
What is happening?
Oh. I like it when the red water comes out. I like it when the red water
Oh, is he dying?
comes out of my... Oh, yeah. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, there's a land that I heard of once. Hubert Cumberdale, fancy seeing you here. Somewhere over the rainbow.
This is the most... This is crazy. This is absolutely just crazy. It's... Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to watch anymore after this. Yeah, not this guy.
Skies are blue.
It's horror.
Over the rainbow. I must have dozed off.
Is the house on fire?
That fish smells about done.
This is weird, man. This is some weird stuff. This is like some of the weirdest shit I've ever watched. How many more are there of this guy? Like, how many videos has this guy made? He's done more than just that, though. But that must be his most popular video. Salad Fingers, #1. That was his most popular video. Where he's just caressing spoons. There's 13 episodes. I will not watch Old Greg. Oh, he was my Old Greg vibes? Yeah, a little bit, huh? Now, I have heard of that. I mean, good for this guy. I mean, that's pretty cool to accomplish that. I mean, like, I'm surprised this isn't a Fortnite character. Yeah, that's Salad Fingers. Thank you for the introduction. One hell of an introduction into that. Whoa, that was a lot. What was I going to look up before that? Animated horror stories? My God, that was something. Dude. Meat Canyon. Now this... I love Meat Canyon, man. There's a queso one. Let's watch that. I haven't watched the queso one yet. I do like Meat Canyon quite a bit.
Pork Floyd? Oh, yep, you're banned. Who said Snack Harlow? Get that guy out of here!
I do love his background.
Okay, banned. Mealtalica? Oh, bro! Tyler the Inflator? Oh, bro.
Mom! Timmy, what's wrong? Oh, God. What's wrong, Timmy? What's wrong?
My phone! It's too heavy,
Crushing
Mom.
his hand.
It's too heavy!
Okay, so here, just hold on. I'll help you. I'll help you. Just hold on.
You know, I'm always surprised, though. Like, if you actually go to Queso's live streams and stuff, it actually is a lot of people just making fun of, his size. A lot of people. You know, obviously, he has his own way of, like, you know, handling it and stuff. He doesn't take it too seriously. He doesn't take it to heart at all, which is what you have to be on YouTube or social media. You have to be able to handle these criticisms, people, you know, saying the things that they're saying about you and just move on. If you can do that, you're going to be successful because that's what they want. They want to see you fucking just cry, whine, bitch, and moan. And, you know, he does a pretty good job, man.
Phoenix, Arizona has sunken in on itself. Government officials have not released a statement as to why.
Are they all making fun of Queso?
But billions of lives have been lost. My monitor just fell to the floor
Godzilla.
watching this guy? Okay, buddy. Banned!
Yep, you're banned.
ただいま東京が何らかの現象により地球に飲み込まれたというニュースが入ってきました。科学者の方
Everybody,
たちは
the one thing everybody has in common is we all get on his live streams and I guess make fun of his weight.
もうすぐ日本全体が飲み込まれるだろうと言っています。
Insanity, man.
You're getting too big. If you grow anymore, you will implode the Earth and destroy humanity as we know it. Oh yeah.
Banned.
Okay, banned.
That's his response most time. Banned.
Y'all called the military? Are you serious, bro? Come on, banned. The density of this madness, it's reaching critical mass. If
Dude,
this
it's like
continues,
Akira.
it will create a chain reaction resulting in a black hole. Not only humanity will perish, but a very galaxy as well.
I guess this year's gonna blow up now. Whatever, man. Banned!
It was our fault.
Tetsuo!
We provoked him.
Kaneda!
And now we're all going to die. No, sweetie, don't say that. Don't say that.
We did this, Mom! We did this!
So stupid. They even got the music. It's an impressive animation. side, people should just stop, you know, saying what they're saying about Queso. Man. Well. Yeah, that's how Sauron was born. Dude, one of the best ones, though, of all time, when it comes to Meat Canyon, it has to be the Moist Critical Sneeko one. Sneeko meets Charlie. Has to be one of the best ones out there. You love the Taylor Swift one he did. Oh my god, the YouTuber... I've not seen that one yet. That, pretty sure there was a YouTuber who was, like, messaging minors and shit. Creepy, like, all creepy-like. And they tried to make an apology video where they sung a song. And it was horrible. It was a horrible apology. I'm not sure if she has a career still, actually. JoJo, Return of the King of Mukbang. Wow, I did not know he did another Nikocado Avocado one. I've seen this one. You remember that? Yeah, a lot of people. I remember when that was a big talk. That YouTuber, I can't remember her name for the life of me. Colleen, that's her name. Yeah. I do not know what her channel name is. It might be Colleen. I can't tell you. Worst YouTuber apology ever. I remember when that. Colleen Bellinger. Bellinger, that's her name. As a half Jamaican, I need to teach myself to cook some. What are you guys talking about? Oh gosh, I'm Colleen. Yep. I never sat down and watched the actual apology video. I just went and I saw Moist Critical's video on it, and he kind of went over it quite a bit. And yeah, supposedly she was on Discord or something, messaging and talking with like underage people in a very creepy-like way.
Hey, it's been a while since you've last seen my face. I haven't been doing too well, so I took a break. A lot of people are saying things about me that aren't quite true, so I thought I would make this song to clear all the air. All aboard!
By the way, it was just a stupid decision, first off, to make a song about something like that where you should be trying to be formal and, like, professional as much as possible because you're talking about literally being a predator, or, like, that was the rumor and speculation that was going on, but apparently, no, it wasn't just that. There are people who actually showed the messages and stuff, so it wasn't even speculation. It was like, no, she was absolutely doing this. And just the fact that she sung a song about it as if this was, like, something on PBS, it was like, what a stupid and horrid decision.
Logan Paul?
Colleen, you don't have to apologize.
Oh my god.
You can vaguely take accountability, and that should be more than fine.
Oh my god, now I understand why they brought him into this. The Okigahara Force situation. I made a big error in judgment or something like that is what he said on his apology video. My god.
People will use your demise to benefit themselves. Public perception can easily be changed. Just, sell some energy drinks or fight in a cage.
Well, okay.
Yeah, no shit. No shit. If it was anybody else, he would have lost his career a long time ago. But because he started doing shit and then, like, making Prime and all that, people forgave him. He got into the fucking ring and stuff, and people forgot all about the stupid shit he was doing. But if that was anybody else, they would have lost their YouTube channels.
Canyon's new merch. I'm a part of the fucking problem. Meat Canyon's new merch.
Pretty dope merch, though.
I gotta plug this in at some point.
Love that hat. I would definitely wear that hat.
No way! James Charles, Jeffree Star, and Shane Dawson!
Oh my god.
Colleen, I've done some bad things too, but views are up, brand deals too.
People forget, it's just a thing of the past. I swear I've done nothing with those cats.
Don't worry, time heals the soul. Your misdeeds will only get old. Rebuild yourself and hit the sack. Just don't forget to check all the people's IDs when you come back.
You gotta check the IDs. I'll certainly try to keep that in mind. Thank you all for helping me. This has been so refreshing to know that in just a short amount of time, no one will care. And that there's awesome merch over at meatcanyon.store. Wow, that's really cool. Oh, David and Sienna.
Just give it time, Colleen.
I don't know everybody who's hopped on in here. I should specify that. Logan Paul is. I know Logan Paul. I know Shane Dawson. Everybody else is kind of. Maybe I've seen them once or twice, but I don't know their content.
You
or what they've
won't
done.
go broke. Badu, badu. Try some new platforms, Snapchat, TikTok, or Rumble. Badu, badu. Just be sure to let the crocodile tears flow. Badu, badu. Then head over to MeCanyon.store. MeCanyon.store. Badu, badu. MeCanyon.
Jeffree Star is a makeup artist. Okay.
MeCanyon.store. MeCanyon.store.
Well,
I don't.
Looks like there's a bunch
can't
more
look in
people
her
trying
eyes.
to get in here. I'll be seeing you real soon.
MeCanyon's new merch. I'm a part of the fucking problem. MeCanyon's new merch. I gotta plug this in at some point.
Goodness. Okay. Merch drop. I want to see her channel really. Calling Ballinger. 2.93. Last time she uploaded was 3 hours ago. Okay. Hey, thank you for being a member for 42 months. Really appreciate that. Colleen Vlogs. I mean, her channel still gets quite a few views. Like, they're not like, insane views like, The Boys or anything like that. But she still gets quite a few.
Hello, everyone.
Looks like she's getting over almost 1,000 likes, 1 dislike. But then you see stuff like this. 1.7 thousand dislikes, 1.4 thousand likes. Doesn't look like a whole lot of, negative comments unless she has someone going through and, maybe removing some. Only 106 comments with over 1.4. They might have people, moderating their comment section. But it seems like people didn't forget because, yeah, people didn't forget because her dislike ratio is almost as much as her like ratio. She does Miranda Sings as well, I believe. What was that name? Miranda Sings? Who's Miranda Sings? Ah. Miranda Sings, Colleen Ballinger. Okay, so that was not her main channel then. Right? I'm confused. Hold on. I'm a little bit confused now. Colleen Vlogs. This is the one that everybody was talking about. I guess that's not her main channel then. Here's the video that everybody was talking about, the one where she does that apology with a smile on her face, knowing full well what the accusations are, what everybody was saying about her at the time. This is so insulting to the victims. Again, yeah, she was making a joke about it, pretty much singing a song like it was a PBS show. Pissed off so many people, rightfully so too. Rightfully so.
That's super. This is a ukulele apology video. She's turned her accusations and her response into a Disney musical number here, I suppose. She's got a whole little Broadway moment here to sing and talk about it. Now, before getting into it, let me give some context on what she's apologizing for. Colleen Ballinger is most known for her Miranda Sings character. If you've been on YouTube for a long time, you've definitely heard that name before. She was a massive superstar on the platform. She even had her own Netflix show. And recently, another YouTuber...
I had forgotten all about that. She was bigger. Yeah, she was pretty decently big.
Named Adam McIntyre has really started to spearhead this information about her past and everything that's happened to them, as well as the group.
She was accused of bullying and grooming underage fans.
Really started to spearhead this information about her past and everything that's happened to them, as well as the group chat.
Alleged conversations taken from a group chat that McLinter and Ballinger were both a part of. An included Ballinger asking for an ass photo, asking female fans to describe their first period, and making fun of a fan who got a tattoo in her honor. Am I going to react to more Sam and Colby? At some point, yes, I probably will. I will say right now, probably not, only because I've gotten burnt out with, like, paranormal investigations. Honestly, I've gotten burnt out. I was doing loads of them at one point, and a lot of them were just pretty much a lot of the same stuff, and I just got burnt out. But at some point in the future, I will probably get back to that. On the bright side, if I do get back into it, I have a lot of content to react to, so you can probably look forward to all that stuff at some point. Yeah. So she was bullying, I guess, somebody who got a tattoo of her, and then supposedly asking personal questions like that.
That she used to have with a lot of her fans that were minors, and the way she conducted herself. She's been accused of, like, asking for ass pics from her fans, and again, most of these fans were minors at the time. She'd even send really weird videos to them. It's just, there's been a ton of evidence of very unacceptable shit, so she's been accused of, like, grooming as well as being a predator, and this video that she made is her response to those very serious allegations.
I wasn't really saying that they script their content, by the way. I didn't say that. I was just basically saying a lot of paranormal investigation channels feel the same old, and that's why I got burnt out. It wasn't even just Sam and Colby. I was talking about other channels too. But that's just me at the time. I'm not saying I don't, like, I'm not trying to bash them or anything. That's just, you know, I got burnt out.
All aboard the toxic gossip train. You're chugging down the tracks of misinformation. The toxic gossip train. You got
that is
one
cringe.
way ticket to manipulation station.
Nah,
that is absolute cringe right there.
She's giving us a one-way ticket to defecation station, because this is some shit here. I don't know how she thought this was a good idea at all. She doesn't even disprove any of the allegations. She just calls it the toxic gossip train, like it's some kind of little musical number out of Magic School Bus or something that she's not taking seriously. In the face of very serious claims, she decides to put on the entire clown outfit and grab her trusty ukulele and go to battle. But it's not really a battle, because she doesn't even really tackle any of the claims. She doesn't refute anything or defend herself. She just makes a song.
Yeah. Anyways, that's the whole situation with that. She made a joke, pretty much made a joke out of everything, even knowing she should not have made a joke about everything, because a lot of the stuff that were being talked about were very serious accusations, very serious claims, and to do this is like making a mockery of all those people who were speaking up about it. Yeah. Disturbing shit. Disturbing shit. Let's get her off my screen, though.
Of exactly what it is, or
here's a channel I love, the Nostalgia Critic from Channel Awesome. If you liked Adam the Woo, I loved Adam the Woo. Loved that guy's channel to death. That was one of my personal favorite channels of all time. Probably my personal favorite, actually. Yep, Nostalgia Critic, one of my favorite channels I grew up with, like Adam the Woo, grew up with Nostalgia Critic, so I watch a lot of him. Justin Scared, though. I have heard Justin Scared. Not mistaken, they did that Celebrating the Life event over for Adam recently. There was like a giant event that was celebrating the life of him, and it was pretty cool. I saw the live stream and whatnot, a little bit of the live stream, and I'm pretty sure Justin Scared was actually one of the people who were there, who was actually talking quite a bit. It's Scarred. Pennywise popped up, and I think I'm going to leave now. Only for a minute. Only for a minute. Adam the Woo collabed with Exploring with Josh. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Exploring with Josh was another person who was just going around vlogging and stuff and having fun. And Adam and him had crossed paths at several events. And yeah, they collabed quite a few times. Yep. Actually, Exploring with Josh, liked one of my comments and my post that I made about Adam, because I just outright said Adam the Woo was like my hero. I loved that guy, man. I never met him. I never collaborated with him, but I would have loved to in person. I would have loved to have met him at some point. It's just a shame that, that's never going to happen. That's probably one of the, saddest things. It's like if my channel ever skyrockets and I actually make it somewhere with this channel and I'm up there, I'll never be able to reach out to him and say, hey, I'm in the area. Do you want to do something? Because I would have loved to at some point. That's probably the biggest gut punch, is knowing that it's never going to happen. Yeah, if you've never seen Adam the Woo's channel, highly recommend it. 2 months ago, last vlog. Hey, tomorrow I won't be able to see Channel Awesome at my local convention. It's $47 just for Friday. Oh, wow. Yep, this guy right here. Adam the Woo. Love this guy's vlogging stuff, man. Today's adventure.
Welcome, everyone. Adam the Woo here. Coming to you from the canyons of Southern California. I got my 3D glasses on because today's subject matter coincides with the film, a horror film that was released in the 3D format. And I'm going to check out the filming locations of Friday the 13th, Part 3. I should probably take these off though, because they're very disorienting. Join me, shall you? Starting off on this road where the van pulls down.
Yep, the same street where the van pulled up and they thought it was on fire because the two guys, the couple in the back, were smoking a lot of dope and the smoke was coming out. Yep. And he was just a normal guy, just going around, having fun with the camera. Every day he would post a new video. Man, there's something special about that feeling, though, when you just see him upload every single day. You click on it, you had something to look forward to every single day. Something really cool about that. He was actually more beloved than I ever would have expected he was, man. The fact that they did a giant celebration in his honor, celebrating the life of Adam the Woo. His dad, posted a video talking about him and whatnot. That was really cool. People, they put up billboards, literally like in memoriam for Adam the Woo in California. Pretty fucking cool. Pretty effing cool.
Down to park in front of Vera's place.
Let's go to the
was
when
considerably
they go to the woods.
different. Most of the houses have been torn down and new apartments have been put in their place. The left of the trunk, right there under that limb. I know what you've been waiting for. That's right. The barn.
Yep. The barn from Part 3. I'm not sure if it's still there.
I have to admit, after seeing this on screen so many times, I'm slightly intimidated and nervous to go in here. You want to do the honors?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh my goodness.
Jason's barn.
This is where the biker got his hand cut off. And Jason hung.
And this is the angle when he's looking at them from across the way. He's got the door.
Yeah, so if you guys don't know, right there, that's a chimney from one of the main houses for Higgins Haven, and the house is gone. If I'm not mistaken, someone actually caught the house on fire and it burnt down, and the chimney was all that's left. That is, and he actually goes through and he shows like the exact rocks and everything. Looks like a regular barn. How dare you? How dare you? It is a regular barn, but it had film history. It's where Jason Voorhees got hung.
Barely opened. Under this.
Let me go back to this real
are
quick.
more that are completely. The feet were, holy cow, that's awesome, right? Yeah. When he's carrying off one of the bodies, you see the moose head, and then below the moose head, I love matching this stuff up. So look directly below where the moose head was hanging, moose head up there. And what I was just showing are these particular formations, and then over here are more that are completely identical. That would be to the left of the moose head, right there. So you look at those 4 or 5 rocks in correlation, going upward, and that's them. Wonder whatever happened to that.
There's that circular one.
That cool moose head. This has sprung up to great heights since then.
Yeah, that's freaking awesome that was still sitting there. Let's get to the scene where he reenacts the chase.
He never stops. He never stops. He continues to run right along here, up this hill, and appears to be maybe one of the bikers' motorcycles, and then jaunts along the side of the barn straight that way.
Yep, spot on. And I love that they didn't actually add the music. They actually just lip sing the music so they didn't get copyrighted.
Chris was hiding.
That's charming as hell. Like, that's clever. Friday the 13th Part 2 filming locations. The guy went in so many places. Like, the Evil Dead one was kind of cool. The Evil Dead 1, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the gas stations in that one. Some really cool stuff, in my opinion. Yeah, loved that guy. So sad what happened. Lord Beagle is live right now.
You just did there. Yes, she's finally looking at me, I know.
You're telling on me? I just commented in his live stream. I won't be here too long, though. I want people to actually go over there and support his live stream. But I wanted to see his reaction.
Okay. I know you're live.
Suck it, Jet. Yeah, I shot you down, dude, with a tank.
I'm literally live streaming a live stream.
I shouldn't be surprised by how batshit he is. Yeah, he's just fucking, he's stupid. He has no intelligence whatsoever. His last brain cell's fighting for.
All right, I'm gonna head off this one because I don't want to take away any of his views. But definitely go watch his live stream. Definitely after this one. Try to sit here and think what else I should react to end this off. You know. That's sad. What movie 1 had to go to the hospital? Okay. Watching you, Beagle. Let's see. Seg's vid on Demon House in Kansas is gold, by the way. I should probably do a reaction to some Side Eye Guy videos here soon. Actually, I haven't watched him in quite a while, so that might be something to check out. But let's go here. I'm going to be uploading, by the way, I'm going to be probably after this live stream going to be playing Poppy Playtime Chapter 5. Probably will not be live. I'll probably just upload it to the secondary channel. So if you guys are not, definitely go subscribe to the secondary channel, the gaming channel. This is where I will be still uploading all my gaming content. So as you can see, I beat Poppy Playtime Chapter 3 and 4 recently. Chapter 5 will be on here, and I'll probably be filming it in private and then uploading it. So just make sure you're sticking around over here, and then you'll see that. Justin Scared video of the filming of the... that is pretty cool. The filming locations for Goosebumps, the actual show, that is fucking awesome. I might check that out here in a minute. Maybe. But I'm just kind of saying, like, secondary channel, guys. Gaming channel. This was fun, Jordan. I like this. We'll be doing more of this stuff if this video does well. I see it only has like 35 likes, but that's not everybody. That's nobody's fault. It's just YouTube is kind of shadow banned. So if this video starts getting more momentum as I end this live stream, then these kind of live streams will continue where I just react live. And you guys can just see what I do. Bullshit around, right? Anyways. And here's another channel that I highly recommend checking out. I've been actually helping them by redesigning their channel, Flayor Stay Wolf. And I probably mispronounced that, which is fine. I do that from time to time. And I've been helping them out with thumbnails. You know, simple thumbnails, nothing crazy, but a little bit of theming going on here. And I also did hearts recently, too. Cover photo. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Bam. Bam. And she's been uploading World of Warcraft content. Just did another one 1 day ago. You know, I've actually gotten, I wasn't that big of a fan of Jacksepticeye at first. The more I've watched him of recently in my free time, the more I've actually, like, grown to appreciate him a lot more. I do like Jacksepticeye now. Wasn't that big of a fan at first, but now I really do like him. And go back to my channel. You know what? I think we've been on for about 3 hours now. This would be a good time to end it. It is going on 11 o'clock at night, so I'm going to go ahead and end the live stream here. Might play Poppy Playtime Chapter 5 a little bit later, and then you'll see an upload probably within the next few days if I decide to play it tonight. Tomorrow's my last day off before I have to go back to work, but then I work for 3 days and I'm off for another 4, so I'll be doing that. I do like Markiplier a lot. I love Markiplier. He's fantastic. Damn, you came in late. We have been live for pretty much 3 hours now, so I've been around for a while. But I do share this stuff to my Facebook page and my Discord. So if you're watching or you're like very social on my Discord, then you'll probably see the links for the next one that I do. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and hop off here. I will do more of this stuff again. If you hit the like button, show a lot of support for this stuff, it will happen more often. But until next time, do take care. I will see you all again soon. So. All right, see ya.
Reactions are nothing new. However, there is one man on a mission. One man on a mission who wants to prove the world a fakery. He used to follow all these paranormal charms. Now he's had enough. He is done. Take Heart's heart slowing down. Coming after all these paranormal.
Today on Fuckery, we are going to be traveling to a monstrous world. Let's go. Ew.
My name is Kenny Rogers, and this is Jackass.